on, everybody? Welcome back to Weekly Cheddar. I know we missed you guys last night, the usual time, but glad y'all are here. We're going to do some late night mock drafts. We're going to do some questions, of course. Just a few days left until draft time. If you're on Twitter, get the heck over to YouTube so we can have a good time there. Drop a sub, watch some of the content on the channel. But man, we might just roll through some mock drafts if we don't have a lot of questions. I think it's very possible that's the direction we go. We explore some different options, perhaps. So yeah, chat. Let's have a nice, fun little stream. We've got a lot of them over the next week planned, so that's going to be a lot of fun. What's going on? Steven Smith says it's getting closer, like a smart shave. So there you go. Draft season is the draft is super close. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to be live for the 8th year, by the way, not to be super promoty early on. This is like the biggest thing to promote, honestly. Year 8 of the draft show with myself and my buddy Nate from college. We've done it 7 years already. This will be 8. I'm excited. We make sure the production's bigger and better every year, and that's the plan right now. We've got some fun stuff in store. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I mean, you see the times down below. Obviously, right when the draft goes live, we'll be live. Same with day 2. We'll see about day 3. We've never really done day 3, and it's a grind. It's a marathon. Kudos to those who do day 3 streams. So let's see chat here. Cody McDougall asked, what do you think of the Packers looking at high ceiling players from more underdog schools because they're more used to playing with that chip on their shoulder? I've noticed, especially with Dobbs and Reed this last year, they never seem to be satisfied. That chip that drives them to reach the ceiling more often. Yeah, I don't even think it's like an underdog school thing. I think it's just, you can definitely find some players who are, two-star recruits, one-star recruits, right? Like, that just they battle. And I think that really about this question is that's what the interviews are for, right? At the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, the Combine. I think there's and obviously in the top 30 visits you get a really good understanding that we do not, doing all this stuff on YouTube and all that we don't get that type of thing. We can't tell the mentality. We maybe see them a few times at Senior Bowl practice, right? You don't get to see them in the same light as teams. So that if the Packers feel like they have somebody, big school or not, who has that mentality, when you find players with that mentality to play with a chip on their shoulder or play tough, play through the whistle all the time, those are the type of players you want to have on your team, right? It's that simple, right? And the Packers obviously thought that with Reed, and there was a great point by Cody. If they went outside their normal thresholds at receiver, Reed was a lot smaller than guys they took in a long time, right? Since maybe Randall Cobb. So, they felt the conviction with Jaden Reed. They felt like he was, super, super tough, just a dynamite player who, he fell a little bit, right? Coming down, in 2022, he wasn't as effective as a player at Michigan State. That wasn't his fault, but you saw what he was in 21, and the Packers went, yeah, we know what type of player you are, the mental makeup. And I think that's part of the Packers liking Senior Bowl guys so much because they have that extra year in college. I know it's not as fun getting the, these top tier, high flying juniors out of college, but that extra year as a senior, maybe you're a captain, you've taken on leadership stuff, and they know the type of player they're getting in that regard. So yeah, I think they should absolutely be looking for those type of players, especially beyond day 1. I think the chip on your shoulder starts for a lot of players when you don't go the first night of the draft. The most recent example I can think of is Brian Branch, right? Goes to Detroit in the 2nd round, was at the draft and then goes back to the green room for night 2 and says you know what? No, I want this walk. I'm going to take this walk. That's what I wanted to do since I started playing football. And, he's been really good. He's a great slot corner for the Lions through year 1. So yeah, I'm totally on board with that. I'm sure the Packers and a lot of teams are going to be, wanting to find those type of players, especially from the small schools, of course. John Schmidt says, over under 2.5 trades and 10 picks. Knowing Goody's history, I would go over 2.5 trades. I think, whether it be up from 25 or down from 25, up from 41 or 58, up from 88, 91, back from 58. Like, I think there's a lot of ways you can go. So I do think Goody's going to make 3 trades. I bet he does. It's just that's what he does. He's a lot more aggressive, right? And, wants to accumulate more picks at the same time. So yeah, I'm gonna get on board with above 2.5 trades, and that might be less than 10 picks. It might be. I would love them to make all 11 picks, but 9 or 10 seems more likely. I don't know. The 10 picks, John, I'm gonna have to come back on that one. I'll have to think about 10 picks. Think about what they have on the roster, and they get some special teamers. Trying to go through linebackers, safety, O-line. It would be great to have a million of those. So yeah, I mean, I'd be thrilled. Even if they've only picked 9 times, but they made some trades, they got aggressive. Yeah, I'm in. Well, Hepzibah says, great content, bro. Appreciate that. Do you think Wiggins meets our thresholds or too small? Yeah, I mean, if his playing weight is in the 170s, then I think he is. If his playing weight's in the 180s and he feels like he's comfortable playing at that weight and he wasn't just getting up to that weight, for the pro day, which it's very well possible that he was, maybe, but I still think he's probably not what Green Bay's going to be looking for at corner. Just because I think he's really talented. He's uber talented, and I can't wait to talk corners with my buddy Derek tomorrow. But like he is extremely talented, but I think you see guys like Mitchell and Arnold and McKinstry, Rakestraw, Kyrie Jackson, and these guys who play with the temperament, but also play to tackle, play through contact, right? Aren't afraid to be physical. It's like that's part of Wiggins' game that I don't love. But yeah, I think Wiggins is probably a little too small, just based on history. If you were to tell me they picked him, I guess I wouldn't be surprised because Goody has deviated a lot. But like historically speaking, I would put money towards no, not meeting the thresholds. So Ian says Jake's would be a superstar. Well, I appreciate that. Mel Kiper 2.0. So Ian, which GM in like 10 years is calling me out for a take? That's the real question. Because obviously, Kiper got called out by Bill Tobin back in the day, and that 30-year anniversary is coming up. It's like 4 days away. 4 days away from 30 years from that moment, which was a moment that the NFL draft broadcasting world and draft world just will never forget. There's no way. So appreciate that, Ian. Appreciate it. John Schmidt asks, do you have a draft crush that you are 99% sure isn't on the Packers board? Yeah, let me pull up the rankings board that I've got here. That I really like that is not on Green Bay's board. It's a good question. I don't know. I feel like Green Bay and I are pretty aligned this year with the thresholds. That I'm 99% sure isn't on the Packers board. Oof. I could make a really bold claim here. Oh, man. See, the thing is, Smitty, is I have wide receiver draft crushes, but like if you go down the board with like guys I really like in the class, I'm not sure any wouldn't be on Green Bay's board. Like I think the LSU guys, Adunze, honestly, all 3 Washington guys make a lot of sense. McMillan especially, in terms of what Green Bay has done historically. Like maybe McConkey's one that's too small for Green Bay at like 186, but Jane Reed's 187. Like that's not even, like I love Javon Baker. Love Javon Baker. He's like 203, so he's plenty big enough. Xavier Legette, really like him. Him and Adonai are like my outlier guys, analytically speaking, of guys I really like in the class. And like they're big, athletic, Legette's big and super fast. So like maybe it's Pearsall, maybe Jamari Thrash might be one from Louisville at wide receiver. As far as another position, I like Blake Watson a lot from Memphis. He's a little bit smaller than what Green Bay's traditionally done. I think he's in the 190s if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check on that. Oh no, he's not. He's 5'9.5", 200. So he barely hits the 200 mark. I feel like he might not be on Green Bay's board, which is a shame. I like him. I'm gonna get in trouble with this. One, not this one. I do think I really like. I like Renardo Green a lot. I think he's too small for Green Bay to play on the outside. Oh man, yeah. So I'm gonna say the name, Jackson Powers Johnson, which I think is everybody's draft crush. He's a little bit bigger than Green Bay has traditionally gone at interior offensive line or at like any offensive line position. So yeah, JPJ might be one of them. Latu's probably another, like medically speaking, probably not on it, to be honest. He's probably not on Green Bay's board. I think the last one, and Adam brought it up for sure. This is probably number one. Christian Haynes, the guard from Connecticut, definitely one. Yeah. Christian Haynes is definitely one of those guys who I'm enthralled with the player. I just, especially for teams who are running a lot of zone, like you see how good he is with zone blocking schemes and like how well he can reach block and how easy the second level landmarks look to him, how well he is technically when, especially when, he's flowing to his left. So you got, offensive line flowing left, run going left. The way he uses, he, technically speaking, to extend his arm behind him, make sure his tackle's going to get the help he needs to make sure he can secure a reach block and seal the backside of plays. Like there's just so much, I think technically that Haynes does super well that I really like. And that's unfortunately probably the best example of a guy that I am super thrilled with. So yeah, it stinks, but like obviously would love to have Haynes in Green Bay. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's probably not going to happen. He's probably going real early second round. Like teams, I think, saw the improvements he made consistently with like shooting his hands and getting the hands working independently and getting them in the right spot. Like hand placement was a lot better down there throughout the week. That teams are like, yeah, he's playing right guard for, who's going to run a lot of zone early in the second round. I got to pull it up, but like, even the Chargers, like, gosh, so good. He's a guy I would bet on to be good from the class. A lot of money. Him and like McConkey and some of these other guys. So yeah, I got a few of them for sure. 5 days, Adam. Heck yeah. Is this draft going to precipitate trades of players on the current roster? I don't know who Green Bay is going to be able to move and like who they would want. I'm trying to think who they would want to move. I mean, I know a lot of us would like them to move on from like Royce Newman. I have no idea who's going to take him. And like, they have him cheap under contract. Like for depth, might as well keep him. Yeah, I don't know who Green Bay would trade. I think there are going to be players traded on draft night and might be pretty shocked. I think Brandon Ayuk's getting moved on draft night. I do. I'm leaning that direction at the moment, which might be going to play with his old teammate, just saying. Way back at Arizona State. So, evening, M. Smitty. How you doing? Sinat. Gosh darn it. I keep saying Sinat. That's not right. I think Sinnott is somebody who honestly should be, unless Green Bay is like decided that they're done with the idea of the H-back on the roster. I'm not sure why he wouldn't be unless it's height. Like he's 6'3" and 7/8. He's almost 6'4". He got up to 250, which is like, I think Kraft and Musgrave were like 253 and 254. So like they're on par with that. Plus DeGuara was smaller, if I remember correctly, which I'm sure Green Bay doesn't want to go like as small as DeGuara was, but what was DeGuara? Yeah, 6'2" and 3/8, 242 was DeGuara. Like I think Sinat fits them if they want, if they want that H-back. Like if they want that, like he should be part of the consideration there and should be on their board. Any wide receiver, assuming no wide receivers are on their board, that's fair. Protein Pizza says, hey, just hopped in. Sorry if asked and answered before. Don't worry about it. We have I talk about a lot of the same players every week when we're on here, so it is what it is. You're good. You're fine. It says, who's your favorite? Oh, your favorite day 2 DBs? Great question. Day 2. Let's see, I'm gonna look here. I mean, I mean, not counting like Tyler Newman as like safety one, which I'm not gonna move off that, right? Like I think he is still safety one. I mean, I like Javon Bullard. I think there's flexibility in his deployment that's possible at the next level from Georgia. Like he can play nickel as well, so I do like him a lot. What else do I want to go at safety? I just don't know how the safeties. I'm coming around on Cole Bishop. I am at safety. I think the recognition skills are really good. Guy tackles his butt off. He's got good closing burst and speed. Like he can handle stuff on like crossers. He can navigate through traffic when need be to handle his coverage assignment. Like I'm in on Bishop. There are a couple safeties I'm not in on, but I'm getting there with Bishop. So I do like him. Let's go corner. I mean, Renardo Green is currently listed as a day 2 guy on the consensus boards. I do like him a lot. I like Melton. I don't love Melton. I think he's more on the like list. That's Ryan talks about that a lot. I think the other 2 that I would put on there are Andrew Phillips from Kentucky. Really like him. I think he can be deployed inside or outside as well. The numbers and the grades aren't super, but like the film's pretty darn good, and I like what I see from him. I think Kyrie Jackson is the other one to keep it shorter, because I could talk about all these guys, but I think Kyrie Jackson's another that I really like. He's even 6'3", uber physical. He gave a lot of the Washington receivers problems in both matchups. So he's darn competitive. Was at Bama before Oregon. Clearly enough pedigree there. Like the more I watched Kyrie, because there was a lot of Oregon defenders to take a look at with Dorless and Evan Williams, right? The more I watched Jackson, the more I was like, yeah, this should be a day 2 player, and I like him a lot. So, for UConn guard, M. Smitty would say Isaiah Davis out of South Dakota State, but I would think he'd be on Green Bay's board. I think so. Yeah, I would imagine he is. I mean, I think he has the size, so I don't think that's the problem there. And I thought his score was pretty good. Yeah, 6'0" and a quarter, 218, 886. Sorry, RAS. 40 was fine. Jumps were the one thing I have noted. Let me share screen, since we're gonna be sharing screen anyway. Here we go. So with Davis, I think the one thing that I've noticed with running backs that Green Bay has selected, usually, not saying this is perfect, but from what I've seen in the Goody era, usually the running backs, and at the end of the Thompson era, usually running backs have above a 10-foot broad jump. So that's maybe the one thing that could knock him down a little bit. It may be off their board, but I mean, it's day 3 probably for him, so I wouldn't say, that's a deal breaker then. Production's pretty good. Dude's got jump cut after jump cut. He can string them together, which is really fun to watch between the tackles. So, to process where gaps are and react quick enough and run tough with behind the pads, there is a lot to like with Isaiah Davis for sure. What's going on, Airs Joy? How you doing? How much do we believe in the rumor that Zach Tom is moving to center? And if he is, who's your guess who drafted at right tackle to take his place? So if I were to guess the right tackle, I think early, if this is the plan, early, I think the Tyler Guyton probably lands the favorite in the clubhouse. I don't love that. I'll be honest. Just because I think he's got some work to do. But like if you're talking day 2, like can this guy come in and be a starter? If Tom is moving there, I think it's Roger Rosengarten from Washington. I do. I think that's who it is. I do. If Zach Tom's moving to center, they're drafting Rosengarten, and I still think they might draft Rosengarten anyway. But that to me feels like the scenario. Let's get Rosengarten's up just for fun, so we have it just for fun. Here we go. So arm length 33.5. Shuttle looks solid. Under a 5. I know Mike Wall has talked about that a lot on his show. Where he's like, if you're an O lineman running under 5 like that, 10-yard split's good. 6'5", 308. Like that's, I think Myers was like 310. Runyon was like 311-ish. It's like he falls under that category pretty well, and the athleticism's good, and the tape is good. I feel like Rosengarten is that guy who would come in and play right away. Unless Green Bay's moving up to go get somebody like Fuanga if he falls, I feel like Rosengarten's your guy to take his place like immediately. Guyton is like Guyton or like Kingsley Suamataia are like your guys where you go, okay, we're moving Zach Tom to center in 2025, but we need time for this guy to get acclimated to NFL speed and all this stuff, and when we sneak in some reps here and there potentially to where like, okay, he's going to be ready for 2025. Like those would be the long plays, but if they're doing it immediately, it's got to be Rosengarten. Got to be. Ian saying hit that like button. Would appreciate that. If you guys would do that, of course, helps out the algorithm for the channel. M. Smitty says, my perspective is Tom may have a say about losing out on right tackle pay and moving to center. Yeah, maybe he's like, well, hey, I played right tackle. Look, you expect me to take center money? Yeah, that could be an interesting little wrinkle for sure. So, okay. Ayers Joyce says, I think we got to get Colson in the second. Would like that. Newton in the first. Would love that. And just get Bo Braid in the fourth. Yeah, I think Bo Braid could be the strong safety for sure. I do. I think he can be a strong safety. And still want Brooks in the second round. That's fair. That is fair. So, Cody wants Bullard on day 2. Heck yeah, I'm in. Coach Hewlin's, what's going on? How you doing? Says Wiggins does have the foot speed for sure. I would be worried about the other DBs getting rammed by on the perimeter. Yeah, I think that's probably McKinstry's biggest concern. I think Arnold's got enough. I think Mitchell's got enough. I think DeJean can turn and run with people. It's just DeJean is more about, the break point in transition, driving on in breakers, having enough agility to stay in the hip pocket when those in and out breakers are rolling through. But yeah, Wiggins definitely has that. It's just like, is he going to get kind of bullied by guys like Mike Evans or, DJ Moore, Justin Jefferson? Like, guys going to be able to kind of push him around a little bit at the top of routes in the stem. Like, is he going to be able to be aggressive? I do feel like there are times where he, when arriving at like contact and when he was doing some catch technique stuff, that he was kind of not balanced because I don't think he was ready to handle like the size and physicality of some of the receivers. So yeah, I think, but other than that, like the coverage stuff with Wiggins is superb. Like if you're just going off of coverage skills, I mean, it might be him and McKinstry up top. Truthfully, like McKinstry, I think is that good, but Wiggins should be near the top of the class if you're talking about just coverage stuff at corner. Like he should be near the top. Ron Sanville been in on Bishop. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Some of the live showings I saw in the fall, it was like kind of like Bishop was just throwing his shoulder at guys and not tackling, and I was like, oh, is that the thing? Does he always do that? And it's like, no, he doesn't always do that. It took me like 5-6 games to get through, and I'm like, oh yeah, sometimes he's just like, that's last resort, flinging your body at guys. There are guys who, do that all the time, and I'm not in on that. But yeah, Bishop's a good one. Oh, Richardson, that's a good point. I don't know. We've heard so little about him, Adam, but he probably is a day two guy. That's a good point. Yeah, I gotta make sure. I want to reach out about that. I'm gonna reach out about that. See what we can find out about Richardson, and what the league thinks. Because I feel like I've heard little to nothing. I've heard Richardson's name from a few guys, right, that I talk to all the time, but I feel like I don't hear his name at all. It took somebody mentioning him in a group chat a few weeks ago to be like, oh, this is a guy you should check out. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Because I don't know, where's he at on the consensus like big board? Is he even there? That's really the question. I need to find out. What's going on? Chris, Ron Samuel says a lot of Kentucky guys discussed. Yeah, I like Davis for sure. I do like Phillips. I'm not as big on Wallace, although I'm willing to say that Wallace probably ends up in Green Bay, in some capacity, which, that's fine. Is what it is. You're not going to love every pick that Green Bay makes. That's how it goes. I need to see. Is he on here? Mississippi State. Yeah, he's 184, and he's peaking now, which I think that's funny. He's peaking now. Like right now, he's at his peak on the consensus board. It does seem like he's just been unearthed. It's like, oh, this guy. Like I'm as guilty as anyone. So yeah, I like that. Okay. M. Smitty says, I also think him jumping back to 182 at the pro day really puts him back on. I mean, yeah, they've historically been in the 190s. Keyshawn Nixon's 200 pounds. He's playing the slot. Right. So I think maybe, but I would lean towards no. But Goody's, again, what are we doing? Goody's consistently been like, thresholds, bend, break, and like it just, scatter shot. Protein Pizza says Kyrie and Bishop would be sweet. There's Joy. Kyrie seems good. It seems like everybody likes the Kyrie Jackson shout. John Schmidt says mid-round edge that would be a good fit for Green Bay, that fourth spot. Off the top of my head, oh man, mid-round, it stinks. I feel like edge just drops off a lot. Obviously, like 2 months ago, it was like, oh, Nealon would be a great fit here. And now it's like, Nealon might go round 1. And so there's a whole lot of that. Mid-rounds. I think the ones that are good fits, like, he's not a mid-round guy, but like Eric Watts is 100% one of those where, it's a late-round swing, athleticism, playing on the edge because he's got the size, 100%. Same with like Miles Cole from Texas Tech, right? Those are the two that are like supreme athletes. Let's see what they got, because they're like what? Let's bring them up really quick, just because I was thinking about this. But like, here we go. I know the agilities aren't good, and I know Adam will be giving us some notes in that regard. But like athletically speaking, and 6'5", 274 with 35 and 3/4 inch arms. Like, I get the agility's not good, but like, what have Green Bay's defensive ends consistently been able to do? Rush with explosion, rush with power, right? Make that your go-to, and then work on stuff once you get to contact, right? You don't need to be the 240 guy who bends around the edge. So I think day 3, there's a chance for Eric Watts. Miles Cole as well. Let's pull him up. Like, two guys where I go, film, but like 6'6", 278, 36 and 7/8 inch arm. Like this guy's getting drafted. He might get drafted in the mid rounds. Who knows? But this, defensive end, sure, 100%. I think the other two that I had in mind, I got to make sure that they were up to date here. Yeah, this works. Brennan Jackson from Washington State, 6'3", 7/8", 264. The arm length is a little short, but hits a lot of the metrics here. I didn't do the 3-cone, it looks like, but Did the shuttle to the pro day. That's nice. So like size wise, this is more of what you're looking for to defensive end. For this team, I can't imagine they're going to go super small into the 250s unless they believe like, Latu at 259 is somebody I really like, but we think medically potentially he's off the board. Verse and Chopper at 254. So maybe you're stretching a little bit, but Verse he's shown can defend the run. But I think Brennan Jackson's the mid-round guy I really like. I think the other one, let me make sure he's still up here. I think he is. Yeah. So 6'3", 260 for Cedric Johnson from Mississippi. Those are probably the guys you're looking at. Those four. I think other than like the guys at the beginning and of course Marshawn Nealand. So if they're looking for that, like I feel like those are your four guys you should be looking out for. Just more so than not based on the size that it's going to take to play defensive end. So it's a good question. Really like that one. Coach Hewlin says, is Sainer still too small for Green Bay? Historically, yes. That's another good one. I forgot to bring him up. I'm just so conditioned to be like, yep, Sainer's still a good player, not there. Right? Like he is phenomenal. He is really like transformed his career moving to the slot and like just embracing it and being dominant there. Like from a physicality standpoint, right? From a coverage standpoint, you mentioned the movement, you mentioned the ball skills, of course. Love it. Like I think he would be tremendous. We talk. I'm trying to find a title for this video because I want to release it next week or this coming week as one of the last vids before draft time. Is like why your team needs a good slot corner. Maybe that's what I'm gonna have to do, but unfortunately, it doesn't get a lot of good keywords. Just saying. But like what the Chiefs have done with McDuffie, what they allow McDuffie to do in their scheme, blitz, cover, play a little bit outside, great tackler, like all the things that he does really, really well. The Chiefs are like, I will just take him at 21. And like, yeah, he's not an outside corner all the time, but who cares? Like he's a really good player. We're going to play him in the slot a bunch. We'll play him on the outside a little bit. Cover, tackle, blitz, fill in the run, do all of these things we need you to do in this day and age. And like, we're going to be in good shape to help our secondary and also, position ourselves well to help out a lighter front seven when we got it out there, right? Like that's exactly what the slot should be doing. Obviously, DeJean would do that at a high level, but Sainer still would as well. Cody says, I've seen a fan poll. 60% were drinking the Kool-Aid, only 40% were DeJean. If you want the outside corner in this, in what we think Hafley's going to run, I prefer McKinstry. If you want like potentially a dominant nickel and strong safety, DeJean. If we're going to play more cover two, if this were still like a Fangio style defense, I would take DeJean for sure. I would be happy with either, but DeJean would fit better there, where everything could be in front of him and he can react accordingly. And it's not like, man coverage is, well, I guess they do some match stuff, but like he'll be able to, in off coverage, be able to more diagnose and close rather than be, having to stay in phase in the transitions with the breakpoint stuff, like all the route receiver, you could tell it's been a long process with all the recognitions of like the routes and what receivers are running and, having to adjust on the fly and transition on the fly rather than like, all right, I can play off. I can see what's coming. Either I'm turning and running or I'm closing downhill. And that I feel like would be more of what DeJean could do. So Eris Joyce says, based on Hafley's comments of wanting to get more turnovers, I'm sure we will have to get more playmaker type. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I think McKinney's obviously going to bring that. I know he doesn't have many picks, but like catch point production, McKinstry's definitely got that. The turnover thing is hard for me because turnovers can come because you have generated really good pressure that has affected the quarterback as well. Like turnovers are such a hard thing to replicate for even one player, right? Year over year. Like that's, something that is tough. And like even the best, like the best corners of this era do not have that many picks. So that's what's tough about that. But I do think like if you're good at the catch point and you have that type of the ability to stick in the pocket of corners, the hip pocket of corners, and be in position to make plays. That's what I want to see more of, because I think the turnovers will come. Yeah, day 2, Andrew Phillips for sure. There's no doubt, Coach. I think he is. I don't think the grades that PFF gave him do him justice in how he can play, truthfully. Ron Sanville agrees that Samer's still in the slot, 100%. Kind of makes it less likely we get Colson, sadly, but I'm okay with it. Just don't reach for guys. I feel like Green Bay is going to reach on the consensus board. They always do it. And we always think it's like not a great idea. Maybe not always, but we often think it's not a great idea, and it turns out fine. So that's what's tough about saying things are a reach, but like obviously you can only use your judgment per se, and maybe the consensus board and how some of the like 33rd team and others who are ranking the players who have had the experience of doing so in draft rooms to go like that's a reach. Like that's all we can do, right? And I mean that's what makes draft coverage so odd. Such an interesting section of like sports coverage that is, a lot of like prediction and forecasting. So, but yeah, it would be good not to reach for guys that are consensus day 3 guys or like late day 2 guys early, but you just never know how these things are going to go. Adam Huddle is team Fisher or Rosengarten for right tackle. Doesn't like guiding to 25. That's fair. Air Joy says Phillips underrated. Air Joy also says if Barton's gone, I don't want O-line in the first really. And he wants Tom to keep playing tackle. So do I. I think it's, and M. Smitty agrees, it feels Thomas has found the home out there. Like that is, he's been so good. And it's just, it would stink to kind of be like, all right, well, we got to reset things at right tackle. Like we got to go find the tackle now. And I don't like that. I would much rather be like, all right, let's go find a center and let's get that covered instead of trying to play the, all right, can we find somebody as good as Tom right away? I don't want to play that game. I don't. We got Stokes for his foot speed, and that didn't go. Stokes to me was very much like and I remember doing his film room, and I remember doing this after we drafted him. It was just kind of like, okay, he's really good when he can just stay up in your face and press, let you dictate where you're going to go, and then run after you. Like he could turn and run with anybody. I feel like he struggled at the transition point of staying balanced when he had to flip his hips and turn and drive on throws and stay in coverage with guys running, digs and comebackers. Like it felt like he was playing out of his frame a lot, and he was taking wide steps to kind of, squat on stuff. And like, he was just not balanced very often. And that was the struggle. It was kind of like, all right, well, he has to kind of hone all this technique in. Yeah, and this is, I 100% agree. I think that he really did. He struggled at the transition point with balance, and that was tough to watch. And it was like, wow, this is a first-round pick, huh? Well, maybe he can just turn and run with a lot of guys, or he can just play well off the ball and close on guys with the speed. Like, he was still physical, but it was just interesting. Yeah, Coach, I feel like that's the one thing, because it stinks. Like receivers are just allowed to do whatever they please, right? They are. They just like, they can push off at the top of routes. They can push off late down the field. And it's like, okay, if you're not physical enough to kind of handle all this stuff that receivers are going to do at the last second at the top of routes to get open at the line of scrimmage as well, to get open, like you need to be ready for all that. You need to have enough to your frame and enough like functional strength to be able to just kind of handle it out there. Because again, I know the receivers are getting smaller, and that kind of benefits Wiggins a little bit, but there's still big guys out there. Like this draft alone, like it's very possible, like say this, right? Say the Packers do draft Wiggins. Listen, there's a chance you're going to be playing Rome Odunze twice a year, okay? Like there's a decent chance that's happening. And Odunze's a big dude. He's going to play with a ton of power, and he uses his hands well. Right off the release into his stem, and like he can play that physical game in the route stem. And, Odunze versus Wiggins, I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that idea. That's just the one thing. And I feel like, Wiggins is just going to be a lot better where the defense is less aggressive. And so like he'll have guys, around him that can rally to the ball, and he can play more off coverage, and he can close on stuff and make plays that way. Because if you're going to be an aggressive defense where you're in guys' face and you're pressing and you're being physical, it's going to be a little tougher, I think, for him. So Yeah, agreed. Thomas just too smooth out there, says Joy. He dominated TJ Watt. Yeah. Yeah, he really did. Cody says, hello, McKinney, McKinstry, Valentine, and Ballantyne. Yeah, we're gonna be, and don't forget, Cody, potentially Melton and Melton as well. Don't forget about that. Like, that's a possibility too. So don't forget there. Could have a lot of similar and, you know, one identical last name. Could be a lot to keep track of. Ian says, are you doing a live draft show during? I am. Yes, Ian. I will be here for night 1 and night 2. Be hanging out. We do a lot of deep dives on every pick. We're going to be tipping the picks. We're going to have giveaways too, by the way. This will be the first time we have those for the draft stream, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that, and hope you guys come hang out, because it'll be a lot of fun. I can't believe it's been 8 years, to be honest. I remember my buddy Nate and I just, like, back in 2017, we were like, why don't we do this? And not all of our streams are on YouTube, right? I think just the last 4, including this one, will be on YouTube. The rest were on Periscope. So we were using Periscope back then, which was great. It worked out well. Obviously, RIP Periscope. But I just remember, like, hey, why don't we just go live, see how that goes? It was like break down picks and not wait and not do a lot of, the pageantry stuff and like waiting in time, and just, the picks are being tipped, so we could do this. We can get out in front of it, and just it's been amazing. I love it. 2020 obviously was a wild year, like pandemic stuff. If you go back and watch those, like, you'll see, like, we had a lot of guests for that. Like, it was like, oh wow, everybody wants to join in on this. It was super fun. A lot of great reactions to the Packers picks in 2020. Which I said a while back, I remember this, not to get too off track here, but I said a while back, once we get to 2K subs, I'll drop all of those reactions I have. We're not there yet. We're not there before the draft. It's a little disappointing. But yeah, I remember pretty much every reaction I've had to a Packers pick since 2017, which is cool. And to have all that live is probably a little humbling, honestly, based on some of the reactions and how the picks went. But you just roll with it. This is fun. It's obviously serious. I want to take it serious, but also, we're forecasting, right? This is like super forecasting to its finest, and it's just like, is what it is. You can control all you can control from an evaluation standpoint, but it's always just fun to kind of track guys and see how things go. See if you can refine the process. So, yes, Ian, I am, to make it long-winded, I am doing a show. It'll be a lot of fun. Hope you guys will join for that for year 8. Be a good time. All right, let's catch up on some comments. We'll do a couple mocks at the end here. Probably within the next 10 minutes or so, we'll get to one. I want to keep this one a little shorter, because when I get to, there's a few things I want to finish up. There'll be some film rooms to finish up and stuff like that, and podcasts to do for Packernet. So keeping myself busy these last 5 days. Ron Sandville says, Baldinger says you can't have a great offensive line without a great center first. So that's the theory with Tom at center. That's understandable. I get that. I do get that. To me, I think I would just rather upgrade at center right now. Like, take JPJ, and just roll with that, because I think that would work out well. But I get it. It's just, I just feel like the one thing about, like, the great center is, obviously it's nice to have a center who is setting protections and knows where everybody needs to be and understands, where we need to slide and all of this great stuff. At the same time, like, when you talk about this day and age with how good the pass rushers are, right? How athletic, how strong, how diverse pass rushers are in how they can win. It is so crucial to have 2 tackles out there who can pass protect, because the center, and Mike Walls talked about this, the center's on an island, like, what, 12 to 15% of snaps, if that. And so, like, I know this is a very much a pass protection, pass happy league take, but, like, to me, like, tackles, when you're facing, your Montez Sweats twice a year, your Aiden Hutchinsons, and guys who just can, Max Crosby faced last year, who could just take over games, it's just like, all right, how can we best neutralize those guys? And it's like when you have a great tackle duo, it helps you immensely. And when you don't, it's a struggle. Like the Chiefs were struggling all last year until they got hot because their tackles were pretty bad, like across the board. Like they were not that good. And, they figured it out, but like they're going to be upgrading offensive line. Like there's a reason a lot of tackles are going to go very early. And I know it's obviously a surplus value type of thing, but like just to combat the darn rushers in this league is so difficult. Adam says Cole tested like a semi-truck. That's funny. Like that. We could have 2 firsts if we trade in the later first, like a second and a fourth for the Chiefs pick 32. Yeah, I did a mock actually recently. I know Coach Hewlin brought it up and was like, how can we do this? Can we, check out like how this would turn out of like take someone at 25, move up to like the late 20s, early 30s in the first and make a pick. And I did that. And I got Johnny Newton and Kool-Aid McKinstry. And that was super fun. And I like that a lot because picking at 41, at least in the simulators, picking at 41 is not fun because there's just like, oh, I feel like 2, 3, 4 tiers are gone. And it starts to be like, do I like what's here still at 41? Obviously, it's going to change in the draft. Somebody like Barton. And honestly, Jackson Powers Johnson, I think there's a chance he's available at 41. As crazy as that sounds. I genuinely think there's a chance. Maybe not 41, but into the 30s where it's like Green Bay, if you want to, and I know I've said Jackson Powers Johnson's not on Green Bay's board potentially. That's a player I love that a lot of people do. But like if it were me and like, personally, I do think, the league doesn't love centers that much and would rather just wait and not take them on, day one to be just like sneaking up and going, if it were me and like, oh, he's available at 36, let's just make this slight move up for him to secure the interior of the offensive line. Like I would do that. Will Green Bay? But like it's possible there are going to be guys that we don't expect to be there at 41 that will. Happens every year. But yes, I love the idea of landing like Newton and McKinstry or Murphy and McKinstry, or if you want Barton and McKinstry, like I like that a lot. I do. I've liked it more and more ever since that was suggested. So Arizjoy says edge early only if Latu drops to us 25 or Robinson drops to 41. I'm Arizjoy. I got to throw Nealand in there based on what I've heard recently, and I think what a lot of us have heard. If you've listened to Brugler and that, wouldn't shock me if Nealand is like Detroit's pick. I think Detroit could take Nealand or Darius Robinson at their spot, and like shouldn't be too shocking based on what has been reported recently. But we'll see. I do think Latu, if medically he's cleared by Green Bay, I would lean towards he's not. But I do think like, he would be a fit for sure. And Darius Robinson, I still like a lot too. But I do think you got to throw Nealand in there. Here's where I don't mind up trading in the third for Dorless, who can play edge too, though. Yeah, I think Dorless is super unique. And Here's Joy, I am doing that film room for you. I know you suggested it. That's going to be out tomorrow. Hope you guys all check that out for Dorless, who I think is a talented player. I tried to keep it a little shorter just in case they pick him. I'm trying to go through prospects that I think Green Bay won't pick because I really want to do like full film rooms and like that are a little bit longer than the ones I'm doing now for all the Packers picks. Sometimes there's a couple times where I've gotten it and there's mostly no, which is good. I've strayed away from it, and which is good. But yeah, I'm gonna test the waters. I'm gonna throw a Dorless video out there, and I'm a little scared about it because I think he could be a pick, but I do think he's got some versatility. John Schmidt asks, is Jalix Hunt a possibility on day 3? Perhaps. I think it's the question. I think with Hunt and a few of these guys, I'll bring up Jalix Hunt's Hunt's RAS here, and like he 6'3" 3/4, 252, so like a little bit smaller, but like if Green Bay still has an idea of what they want to do with Brenton Cox on the team, then maybe they would swing here. Very possibly. But 252 might just be a little too small to play defensive end. I know he's still making the like transition between like, okay, I've played safety before and now I'm playing out here. Like this is new, and like the movement skills are excellent, and he doesn't look like he's just started playing the position. But we'll see. Um, I think he's probably there. I think it's possible. If he can pack on a few more, I think it makes a lot of sense. Um, so I do think it's possible, but I do think like Cole and Watts and Jackson and Johnson are guys like I would be looking at purely from size purposes on the edge. But day 3, sure, yeah. I feel like Hunt is like so intriguing with the movement skills. Him and like Mohamed Kamara from Colorado State will be guys that are like potentially like round 4 picks. I hope Hunt lasts long enough, but yeah. Hesba says, the more I watch Peyton, I assume Peyton Wilson talking about it linebacker, the more I'm impressed. I did a film room on him on this channel, actually. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, you should on Peyton Wilson. I really like it. He plays some of that like Jack linebacker stuff where he's like further off the ball for NC State, where he's obviously got to fill and basically take on a collision in the run game, or he's blitzing, or he's dropping into coverage from that spot. He's wearing a lot of hats for that defense, which was cool. But he's got a lot of range. He tackles well, and he's displayed some ability to deconstruct blocks, but not a lot. He seems to want to get around them and make plays, and like sometimes that gets him out of good leverage spots. That's my concern with him a little bit. Obviously, the injuries are the big thing, and that might be why Green Bay doesn't take Wilson because of the injuries and how the medicals look. But yeah. So yeah, Edgerrin Cooper's probably still a pick over here. Moving my top 3 linebackers. So my top 3 linebackers in the draft as of right now are I had to knock Wilson for medicals a little bit, but I do. So I have Cooper at 1, Colson at 2, and then Gray at 3. So Cedric Gray is 3rd for me. Wilson would be 4th. Peyton Wilson would be 4th, just because I have to just make a little bit of a red flag there for medicals. So that's why he'd land 4th. But right now it's Cooper, Colson, and then Cedric Gray. Coach Hewlin says that if we go edge early, I believe Darius Robinson would be a great Preston Smith replacement. Be okay if we trade it back. Yeah, I would be fine with it too, because I think Robinson plays explosive ball. He plays powerful, right? He's still pretty darn good athlete on the field for how much weight he's carrying in the 280s. Like I would really like that. I think him and Dorless are in that same camp of like, you can kind of move them around this front and they won't be completely out of place, especially if you're pushing them more to the interior on passing downs, get more aggressive. Like I do think like I would be decently pleased with Darius Robinson. I know we've moved off him a lot because of the combine stuff, but he's still a really good player. Adam says Hunt and Jeffcoat are day 3 guys I have for Green Bay types. Interesting. Oh, it's funny because like the Arkansas guy, of course, Jeffcoat comes out, but Landon Jackson doesn't. For those who know who I'm talking about, Landon Jackson for Arkansas is like 6'7", 285 at like edge rusher. Oh yeah, Jeffcoat definitely fits. Yeah, 6'3", 266. So there you go, another name to add for. I'm gonna watch him tonight, Adam. Now that you mentioned him, I'm gonna make sure I got some good thoughts there on him, because yeah, that's 6'3", 266. It's pretty good. So you have Cedric Johnson as close. Yeah, I think him and Brennan Jackson should be on Green Bay's radar for sure at edge on day 3. Ron Sanville says defensive end needs to get upfield to the ball in a 4-man front, correct? Agility is not as critical. Yeah, I think partially. Right. I think the one thing about that's tough with defensive end now is like, if you're the end man on the line of scrimmage, which in theory, this is your Sam linebacker, but in this day and age, it feels nickel's more base than not. So it's like your defensive ends have to be able to, on the backside in pursuit, you're worried about option plays and jet motion and all this stuff, to where like, you kind of have to change direction a little bit more effectively. But like overall, I want like big, strong, explosive, powerful defensive ends in the 4-3, and Green Bay, luckily enough, drafted for that somehow to play in a 3-4. Well, mostly because obviously nickel is still very prevalent, but Gary and Preston and LVN aren't going to feel completely out of place in this shift, which is really nice to see. So I still, Green Bay likes agilities though, because they like to see like athletes with that type of quicks and agility playing all their positions, but I do think like I'd be more than happy with like good to great, not as elite agilities if that was the case, but it's just hard to know. Green Bay still probably will prioritize them. So wants Bullard or Jordan Hicks for this? Jaden Hicks? Jaden Hicks for the safety spot. Yeah, I know Jaden Hicks is very popular. I'm not as big on him. I know the Wisconsin game was awesome. It was fun to see him in that game. Like, but like I'm watching, Washington and Oregon and, UCLA, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I'm not thrilled with what I see, to be honest. Now he's a young player, so there can be some, projection, and that's certainly part of it. But like evaluation wise, I was not thrilled with Jaden Hicks, I'll be honest. Mitch says Boygby might be a defensive end late. Yeah, he's in that same vein. Mitch, the same type of player of like the tweener in between like Robinson and Dorless, but I do think he's, if I'm not mistaken, he might be carrying a little more weight though. Yeah. No, he's got size, enough size. 6'4", 297. Hello. Yeah, this might be a defensive tackle. He might just straight up a defensive tackle, which, might be interesting as well. Either way. So, there you go. Better hit safety, O-line, and linebacker in the first 3 rounds. Yeah, I mean, I do think, like... Yeah, I mean, I know it's important to fill needs. It's more of like BPA at need, which I do think there will be plenty of those opportunities. I think they'll find the sweet spot at linebacker. If they want to take safety early, that's fine. I don't think it's... Yeah, I guess the first 3. Yeah, I'd prefer to leave with a safety. The safety class is fine. I'm Team Peter Stone, man. Malik Mustafa, bring him to Green Bay. Bring that man to Green Bay. Whatever it takes. And it probably won't take a whole lot. So Hicks a second or early 3rd round pick. Yeah, probably. He might be the first safety drafted just because he's a young player, good athlete, potential ascension and development there. It's very possible he is because just Kinchins and Newman did not test very well at all. Was way more surprised with Kinchins than Newman. But yeah. Packers playing a Niners style. I know I'm way behind on these comments. Holy smokes. All right, let's try to get rolling here. Packers playing a Niners defense formation, which could be very good for all that. Yeah, I think the D-line's going to get a huge boost, especially on the interior. Carl Brooks could have a big year. Maybe Devontae Wyatt you get more out of him on every down in this defense. We'll see. Kurt Blake says in the beginning, like Colson more than Cooper. Yeah, I think if you want the Mike linebacker, you probably want Colson to be that guy. I think Cooper's just more of a really talented will linebacker. Mr. Death says, do you think Packers will get a shifty running back wide receiver in this draft class? I mean, I think if like you're talking about like Tyrone Tracy from Purdue is like a running back who converted from wide receiver, they could do that. I still think if they're getting a shifty running back, it's still got to be somebody 200 plus. So like I know a lot of people like Bucky Irving. I'd be pretty shocked if he was a Packer. That's another one where I'm like pretty sure he's not on the board for them, but obviously would be thrilled to have him. I feel like he comps very well to like James White, especially as a receiver. But yeah, he's shifty. Duke Johnson's another good comp for him, I think. For those who remember Duke Johnson, it hasn't been that long, so it feels like you should remember. But yeah, Hesba says Colson didn't test though, right? Yeah, he did not. He did not test. That would be. I don't think he has anything but he has nothing but the size. But he's 6'2 1/4, 238. So like, he's got more of the size of the position to be that Mike linebacker. So. Also, they dropped. What are we talking about here? They dropped 8-9 picks last year, so there's that. The defense dropped 8 to 9 picks. Yes, okay. Yeah. I think you just got to be in good position, and you have an aggressive front. They'll be able to force the quarterback into some bad decisions. Just got to finish, and maybe that's more of it with adding some defensive backs. It's those who can just find a way to get their hands on the ball and don't drop a lot of those opportunities. So. John Schmidt, hypothetical 19th pick, Arnold Turner and Murphy still on the board. Green Bay trades up. Who are they taking? Arnold, Dallas Turner, and Byron Murphy. I would lean Terrion Arnold. I'd be thrilled with any of them. I don't think Dallas Turner is their type at defensive end. Because, like, I just don't know, like, in the 240s, like, where's he playing on early downs, right? Especially if you're in nickel a lot. Like, I feel like he's just not going to be that fit. So I think it would be Terrion Arnold. But that's an interesting hypothetical. Ron Sanford says he's not out on Stokes yet. That's fair. Yep. I mean, he was 100% the home run swing development track type of pick. So PFF was, Airjoy says, was not kind to Phillips, Colson, Dorless, and Gray. Yeah, they don't like Gray at all. Don't know why. Airjoy says, yeah, the Stokes experiment I think may have swayed Goot just a bit for prioritization of RAS. Yeah. I think got to look at the film and, like, trust what you see for sure. That's definite. United Bates, what's going on? Says I'm late but happy I'm here. How you doing? I'm sorry it's been so long. I'm trying to catch up on all these darn comments because y'all are showing up big and we haven't even done a mock draft yet. So goodness sakes. But I'm happy you're here, United Bates. Good to see you. Nick Bahanas, what's going on? Nick says, have the Packers ever taken a draft crush of yours? 3 of them. Actually, maybe 4. And I think 3 have worked out very nicely to this point. So I was, and I'll show this on the reaction. I have it. I have it from the 2018 draft. I was over the moon when they took Jair. I was over the moon when they took him. I wanted him, Derwin James, or Minka. Those were the 3 guys that I really wanted Green Bay to take. When they traded out of 14, I'm like, oh, they're not getting any of them. But when they came back up, I'm like, oh, please be Jair. And I was so hyped for that. I will say my guy in the 2020 draft was Jordan Love. I just did not expect him to be a Green Bay Packer. So I was big on Jordan Love back then. I've got the receipts as a potential franchise quarterback. So I really liked that class. I'm surprised that I hopped on the very toolsy train of 2021. That was a shame because that class was awesome. I remember I was like, yeah, I like Jalen Hurts too as well. Like there wasn't anybody I really didn't like. I think it was a little too low on Herbert, but that quarterback class is money. So yeah, those 2, Sean Ryan was another one that Green Bay took in the 3rd. That hasn't really worked out for them to this point. And then the last one was Tucker Kraft. Was big on Tucker Kraft. He's my tight end 3 last year. Really liked Tucker Kraft. I was so hyped. So yeah, those are the 4 they've taken that I've really liked. It's a real shame because I got down on Dontavian Wicks. I was super hyped about him before in the summer, before he had that season where he was just, the production was down. He dropped a lot of passes and I kind of moved off him. I'm ashamed of myself to move off him a little too much. I think he was still wide receiver 10 or 11 for me, but that's still too low, I think. So Airjoy says, I think we are going to wait to get a center until next year. They seem adamant on letting Myers be the guy. Yeah, that's fair. But I do think if they add a guard who can play center, they might have him on the roster. I'm talking about Dominic Pooney from Kansas. He might. We talk about Barton playing all 5, and it's possible Barton can play all 5, right? Guard is a possibility for him. But I do think like there's a chance where you go, maybe Dominic Pooney is just actually better at playing all 5 because he's played guard and he's had success at guard. Barton hasn't played guard yet. And so maybe Barton's best at center. And that's just, Barton's maybe just the Jonah Williams of this class. Remember Jonah Williams from Alabama, who people were like, I remember Jim Nagy pushing hard for this too and was like, that's a center. I would play him at center. I would not play him at tackle. And I think that might have been where he should have played. So if he, I think, meaning Myers, struggles badly, then we probably just have a backup versatile O-line. We drafted in the mid-late rounds to replace him. Yeah, it's possible. Yep. Joseph S. and Jackson Powers-Johnson has had some concussion and injury issues. Yeah, that'll be and that medical thing, Joseph, might push him out of the first round too. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Chris. Yeah, Johnny Newton from Illinois. Yep. Edgerrin Cooper will slide up the board. Green Bay may trade in round 1 to grab. Yeah, Edgerrin Cooper's interesting because there's been some talk, not a lot, and nobody how you do it, I guess. Yeah, the thing with Edgerrin Cooper is like it's a little bit of rumblings here and there. But like I've heard a couple mention this, and it was like back in February or March, where it was like, Houston Texans. They're obviously not in the first round anymore, but like Houston Texans, Philadelphia Eagles, who haven't traditionally done the linebacker thing, could do the linebacker thing. And so, like, he might. I feel like Edgerrin Cooper's probably the first linebacker off the board, just based on athleticism, just based on what a lot of teams have seen this last season. So, like, I think, I wouldn't be shocked. I know for those who are new or haven't seen the video I put up on, I think, Tuesday night of like Green Bay's, or Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, I don't know. Days are hard right now. I just put like, who could the Packers pick at pick 25? And like, he was more of like this is out of the box a little bit more, but like Edgerrin Cooper was on that list. Wouldn't shock me, I guess. I mean, they took Quay Walker in the first, right? Like, we shouldn't be shocked if it's Edgerrin Cooper, Kurt Blake, is George Holani a possibility on day 3? I think just barely, right? 5'10" and 3/8, 208. Like, that's eerily close to what Aaron Jones was. The agility grades weren't great, but he does jump 10.7, runs 4.52. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that as a possibility. I could definitely see that. A-Fam, what's going on? It says, playing with house money with that Jets second round pick. Addition by subtraction where Rodgers was physically and emotionally. That's funny. Love that. Love that. Wilson, yes. Edgerrin Cooper hits hard. Yeah, he's... My only issue with Cooper is like block deconstruction. Like, he has to get around blocks. He's not really good at like handling them and like getting off blocks per se when the collision happens, when you got to sit leverage, when you got to, kind of hold your ground with power. That's, I think, the struggle with him. Kurt Blake says you don't want Kamara from Colorado State. I've seen him play for 4 years. I don't think he's not going to be a Green Bay guy, but I'm just talking about edge rushers in general. I don't think this is a great edge class, but like, Kamara's got some movement skills. Joseph asks, could Chop Robinson be used as a hybrid Sam edge, play Sam in early downs? Yeah, he could. I just think, like, how much is Green Bay going to value the Sam linebacker? Because if they're playing a lot of nickel, like, he's just not on the field enough. And that's my only worry. Like, Chop Robinson, my like big brain for Chop Robinson is like play him at true linebacker and then drop him down to the edge on third downs. Like, yeah, like that's what I would do. Sam linebacker might be like, 15 to 18 snaps a game. To me, that's not a first round pick using that. I can't get on board there. Don't be surprised if Green Bay grabs Cooper early, pass rushing inside. Yeah, he's a good blitzer too. Cooper's a good blitzer. Robinson's agility was bad. Yeah, but his agility on film isn't really that bad, truthfully. Wisconsin Vet says Stanford kicker round 7. Heck yes. Joshua. Oh, what's his name? Like Joshua Cardi or something like that. Oh, I forget what the kicker's name is. I know who you're talking about. I think he was in Mobile, and I think he did better than Riker did in Mobile. So, yeah, sure. Competition? I mean, I would rather find some, like, DBs or offensive line or linebacker to supplant the room. But, like, if they took the kicker for competition, sure. Your thoughts on Valentine's struggles? I think Valentine's struggles stem from, like, being a little too aggressive. That's with initiating contact and with, anticipating routes. I think that's the biggest thing. I think he just kind of needs to play more patient football. He's really aggressive. I think the athleticism functionally is fine on film, but like he just gets a little too aggressive. So that's the one thing I think. I'm going to go back over his rookie film and see that. We're going to do that this summer for sure. But that's what I remember thinking of in like November, December. Like, he's a little too aggressive. I like it, but at the same time, so. Crash says expect the unexpected happens every year. No doubt. Nobody says Brooks will kick out to end. I would prefer he did not do that. And LVN not playing DT. I would just leave them where they're at. AFM says, wonder what Gary's going to weigh in coming at camp. Hopefully in just around 265, 270. That's what we want to see. William, yeah, Newman's safety 1, man. He's still safety 1. Do I think he's going to be a Packer? No. But I do like Tyler Newman. He's still my safety one in the class. Nobody says Hicks, Bishop, Mustafa, Oladapo, and Dadrian. I think you mean DT. I assume you mean DTD, Dadrian Taylor Demerson. Yeah. Demerson's more of the rangy, play on the roof safety. But I do think Bishop, Hicks, Mustafa, and Oladapo makes sense if they're just looking strong safety only. Bishop and Mustafa have some range on the back end, but I still think they're better off as strong safety. So yeah, those first four to play strong safety for sure. AFM likes Newman because he plays in cold weather. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's used to it up there. Like them Big Ten guys, they're tough enough. They understand. I mean, Tucker Kraft, those FCS, playing in the Dakotas, same type of deal. Perfect first three draft picks are to Gene Cooper and Tyler Newman. For me, not necessarily, because I think you're missing out on an offensive line for one, and I don't think you have. Truthfully, I'm not sure if we think we know what Hafley's playing defensively. I don't think you have an outside corner there. Personally, I think you have a strong safety, a nickel, and a linebacker there. Which again, that's fine. If you want an elite nickel player, then DeGene's your guy. But if they're going to be more aggressive, that's if you're looking for outside corner, I would not put DeGene out there, to be honest. Michael Hall, Ohio State in the 4th round. Hey fam, I'll take a swig of this water, but I don't have any Mountain Dew, unfortunately. Oh man. God, we're an hour and 11 in. We haven't done a mock draft. This is not what I planned. But you guys are awesome. Yeah, I think Michael Hall, I mean, especially because he got up to 299 for the pro day and he still looked good moving around. I mean, this probably Green Bay is going to draft one of those visits later in the draft. Like, my guess would be Trayvon Wallace from Kentucky right now, but if it were Hall, yeah, absolutely. I'm good with that. He is twitched up, plenty of length to be able to kind of sit and leverage as a one gap defensive tackle. So I'm there with that. I'm in. Nobody throwing out some linebacker names: Cooper, Wilson, Gray, Colson, Wallace. Yep, for sure. Baja Blast. I haven't had Baja Blast in a while, I will say. Have not had it in a while. Coach Hewlin loves Mustafa. Heck yeah, man. Evan Williams is a good one. I was going to bring him up. I'm bringing him up on the pod tomorrow for the safety preview of like just a guy who played a lot of different spots. And if they want that, I'm in. Like, I think if you want a safety, you can move to some nickel and do a lot of different things, and you have another safety with him that you've drafted to play more strong safety and like that. I'm in. I'm in on that for sure. Look at Newman Games. He's a beast. Absolutely. He is a perfect, middle of field safety to poach a lot of those throws over the middle, create turnovers. I don't agree that the game speed is great. I think it's fine. He does, to me, like, I know he was playing on the roof of Minnesota's defense as a single high. I just don't think he has the range back there to do that at all. To be honest, I'm not in with that. I think for him to stay, like, you have to path adjust at safety at top speed, and I just don't think he does that very well. So, like, to me, like, he would be an excellent strong safety. I really do think so. A robber safety, play in the hole, right? Use that anticipatory nature of your game and the ball skills to just, wreak havoc over the middle of the field. I'm so fine with that with Tyler Newman. I don't think he can play on the roof. I don't. Unless it's a split field coverage, I'm just not there. Mitch says, what about Dominique Hampton at safety late? Yeah, that's a fine player late. His tackling is, I'm a little concerned with how he arrives at contact as a tackler. But yeah, another guy who's, get him to be your third safety, some special team stuff. Yeah, I'm in at that. Shout out to Laramie Tunsil, apparently, says AFAM. All right, nobody's throwing out a little mock draft here. Kool-Aid at 25, Edgerrin Cooper at 41, Jaden Hicks, Kieran Amagaji, yep, and Cooper Beebe. If they got Amagaji and Beebe at 88 and 91, do some backflips for me. Heck yeah. I'm down with the Kool-Aid at 25, 100%. Whatever you do, don't pick an O-line in the first round. Why not? In a good O-line draft, why not? I feel like don't do it. Whatever you do, like, what if the value is tremendous? Right? So, anyway, I wanted those same three. I like to make the most. Jair's phenomenal. Absolutely, I agree. How did you have Dillard ranked? How did I have Dillard ranked? I'm gonna pull up the 2019 consensus board just to take a peek. Because I have to go digging in Google Drive for my 2019 rankings. I'm not gonna make you guys sit here through that. As far as the tackles went, let me see where I had him ranked. He was probably tackle 3 for me. As I'm looking through this, wow, this tackle class was not good. Yosh Nijman in this draft, he was 292 on the consensus board. Yeah, I think he would have been tackle 3 for me behind Jonah Williams and Jawan Taylor. Those would have been the guys ahead. I was not a big fan of Greg Little. I thought Reisner was a guard. I graded him there. I think I remember liking Adoga from USC. That wasn't very good. But yeah, I think I had him as tackle 3, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to make sure nobody got put into the interior. Yeah, it wasn't a great tackle draft. Like, you could argue Elton Jenkins is better tackle than pretty much everybody in the class. So that's kind of funny to think about. But yeah, I think he was tackle 3 for me. I'll double check that for you. Maybe put it in the comments of this video later, but I'm almost certain he was. I like Jawan Taylor more, but I think that's where I was. Jair's tape was phenomenal. He was an aggressive player, but he wasn't like too aggressive where it was like getting himself into trouble. He played with the right level of aggressiveness and physicality. I loved it. Yeah. That's true, AFM. That's true. Dana, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're excited for the draft. I'm excited. Just a few days left. You need to replace Kool-Aid with DeGene so you can have the triple Cooper. Yeah, Joseph's team triple Cooper. Get DeGene, Edgerrin, and Beebe. Nobody says Carl Brooks and Wicks are my draft crushes last season. Heck yeah. Those were phenomenal picks. So, only reason we have Brooks and Wicks is because of Rodgers. Yeah, we did trade that pick back twice for Jane Reed. Goody was absolutely cooking last year. It was awesome. JPJ did. Oh yeah, he did. That's right. He had some soft tissue stuff. Yeah, it was. What was it? Was it shoulder? Or was it something in the shoulder? There was something else, I think, Dana. But yeah, I feel like JPJ is going to drop him. We're going to be pretty surprised at that. And it's, I guess, I'll throw medical into the assessment. But I just figured positional value was also going to drop him. So yeah, I think, It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Edgerrin Cooper's a second rounder all the way. For some team, he might not be, and it might be Green Bay, unfortunately. Wouldn't touch his soft tit. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, AFM. That's fair. Zach Frazier could go. Yeah, Zach Frazier could definitely go higher. I know, obviously, he dealt with a big injury to end his West Virginia career, but he is very talented too. Like, the interior offensive line in this class is actually still decently underrated just because we've talked about the tackles so much. But yeah, Edgerrin Cooper, good hitter. Kind of hit on that. Trying to catch up to y'all. First round draft pick would be DeGene or Kool-Aid. I think you got to throw a lot more names in there, to be honest, because I think, maybe Green Bay doesn't like Kool-Aid. Maybe they want an outside corner. They don't think DeGene can be that. Like, I think there's, as much as it people don't love it, like, Tyler Guyton is probably going to be one of those potential guys. Either defensive tackle, Murphy or Newton. Hate to say it, Marshawn Nealand, potentially one of the linebackers. Like, I know I saw a mock where Junior Colson went 24th to Dallas. I just don't think many things. Once you get to, like, pick 20, like, all bets are off. All bets are off. Because that's when, like, for most teams, the first round grades are gone. And it's just like, nah, you got to take your guy. So, yeah, I'm sure they did get, medical check on him with the Jones fracture with that visit for sure. We would value the Sam linebacker spot more if the guy could actually cover too, which is pretty rare. Yeah, that's the tough part. But I do think Chop can probably do that. I think Turner could definitely do that. But like Dallas Turner, there's just no way I'm bringing in Dallas Turner to be like, yeah, you're a Sam linebacker in our defense. You're not going to be seeing the field enough. So, yeah. So, I do. Is JOK playing Sam? I feel like he's playing overhang Will linebacker. No, I feel like he's playing overhang and like Will in that scheme at like 220. I imagine he would be, but I don't know which call is that. Some Orioles one. That's sick. Who is my running back pick for Green Bay? If I had to guess, that's a good question. Let's do that. If I had to pick Green Bay, picking one running back in this class, who the heck would it be? Man, it's tough. I feel like they're probably not going to get one of the first two. I think they're going to wait. I will go with. Rasheen Lee's got injuries though. Yeah, give me Ray Davis. I'll take Ray Davis. I don't know. That's a tough question. So I'm just not sure. Like I would like Marshawn Lloyd as well. Um, yeah. Give me. I think is Lloyd tall enough though? Ray Davis isn't tall enough either, probably for the threshold stuff. All right, if it were me, I'll guess Ray Davis, but I'll throw it like Tyrone Tracy could absolutely be one as well. But I'll go Davis, even though it's like threshold bending a little bit. Yeah, it's just DeGene. Yeah, I agree with Dana here. Like DeGene needs to be able to see everything that's going on and just close to it. Don't get him into a position and when he's on like trail technique at corner where you're in the hip pocket of the receiver and the receiver is transitioning the top of the route and he's got to stick with guys and fall victim to the rocker step. That's the only thing with off coverage, right? If it's like off man and he's got to deal with somebody who's like throwing a lot of stuff at the top of the route, he could get caught a little bit there. When guys will threaten leverage, like it's going to be a little more difficult for him out there. But yeah, as long as he's like, being able to see the field a lot better, I think he'll be more effective out there for sure. I'm going to bypass stuff of the baseball stuff. Mason Smith fits what Green Bay likes. Yeah, they had him in for a visit. Still a young player too, coach. Yeah, long arms. He plays powerful ball. I was expecting to see a better athlete on film. I know I did a pod scouting all the top 30 visits. But I mean, as a young player with a lot of potential, absolutely. Like him and Michael Hall are like, Hall's obviously been a better player to this point. He's been healthier. But like those two guys are young players still at defensive tackle. Would not be shocked if they look at either of those. Packers traditionally do not draft. They don't. They don't. But Goody has consistently proven that like as much as we're trying to like narrow it down with what we think like threshold here, this is what they've traditionally done. It's more of a have done and not necessarily won't do this, won't do that. It's a lot of again forecasting, right? But like I don't know if they've been in the best position in the last few drafts to be like, yes, this is your offensive lineman you want. Like it just feels like and that kind of goes with receiver too. Like they haven't been in the position to get one that they wanted. So Goody's gonna be cooking again. I hope so. If he gets 3 drafts in a row where he cooks like this, like feels like a team that could be the last one standing at the end of the season. One of these years. So hamstrings and hips. I feel like I'm almost caught up, which is great. Hips. That's what it was. Dana, thank you. I appreciate that. The hip injury. That's what it was. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, he's dealt with a lot, which is kind of surprising, but makes more sense when you go, oh yeah, he's only had like one big year of like quote unquote production, which is like grades and performance and all that, but like it makes sense. So who do you think can take this team to another level? Is there anyone who's can't miss? It's hard to say there is anyone who's like, oh, this person could not miss at all. I mean, I think an obvious answer would be Joe Alt takes this team to another level, right? As a dominant offensive lineman, you bring him in at tackle. I think, he'd be great. Obviously, he'd be a big time elevator. I do think one of the D tackles, right? Murphy or Newton. I don't think they're can't miss, but like they are extremely talented and would really fit like the 3-tech type that Green Bay likes if they want to get more defensive tackles in the room. I know there's a lot of guys in there, so if they don't go that route, I wouldn't be upset. But like those, just I like the guys in the trenches earlier, guys I'm going to say, just like taking them to another level. I mean, obviously, I think Quinyon Mitchell could take them to the next level at corner for sure. I still think Kool-Aid could do that. I think Kool-Aid could actually elevate the secondary a lot, elevate the floor of their play really quickly. But like, I mean, if you're saying like, Brock Bowers, if they're in 13 personnel, could take them to another level, yeah. But like, not it just there really isn't anybody who's like, oh, can't miss. Like I know, like to me, like the 3 receivers at the top and Alt are like probably the guys who I would say are can't miss, and maybe Mitchell as well. But like, even then, you just never know. You just really never know. Trade up before Dallas picks. Yeah, they're probably gonna pick O-line or something like that. Jalen Wright's a good shout for running back. I just wonder if he's going to go earlier than we think he's going to go because he's fast, right? And there would be teams like, "Ooh, fast guy," and they'll just take him earlier than we think they will. And like we'll see how that goes, right? Who's my pick at wide receiver for Green Bay? Man, I don't know. They probably won't take anybody. For me, like, Coach, are you talking about like who I think they pick or who I would pick? Because I've got different answers. I've got way different answers. They seem like the team. Green Bay seems like the team who would take Jalen Coker late from Holy Cross and be like, yeah, this guy's production's really good, and like feel like we could get him into the room and be a productive piece in the room. I would personally take Javon Baker for this team. He's a big play machine, but also a great route runner. Just tremendous movement skills. I would take him. So there you go. Who is my wide receiver pick that I would take versus who Green Bay? There you go. So yeah, Coker and Baker. Who covers more when it comes to slot receivers and tight ends, Sam or Will? Your Will linebacker is going to be doing a lot more of that because he's further off the ball. He's going to be chasing a lot. I mean, your Sam could cover. Your Sam can cover, but like, who do you usually trust more to cover? It's going to be the Will linebacker, right? He's going to be the one that's going challenging guys up the seam and doing a lot of that stuff. So yeah, the Will linebacker is usually your better coverage player, but not that your Sam can't do it. Wisconsin Vet says OTs disappear if you don't choose 125. Yep. Oh yes, Dana, I'm in on this. Kamani Vidal. Please, I'm begging Green Bay to pick him so I can do his film and be like, here's a guy who's going to be tremendous for this team. Yes, I love that. So, love that shout. Cornerbacks seem to fall off quick too. Yeah, I think there's a really significant teardrop, and I think then it's kind of like, okay, Rakestraw and Lassiter are fine, but then you kind of get to like your Cam Harts and your Andrew Phillips and Melton and Kyrie Jackson and all these guys in the mid rounds. Feels like that's where then it's like, okay, there's depth here. Corner 2, corner 3. Like maybe you get your corner 2 back there. But yeah, it does seem like there are like giant steps down with the corner position. Yeah. Johnny Wilson would be kind of sick. He's got impressive foot speed too for a big receiver like that. So like I'm in on that. Jalen Polk is another one who blocks his butt off at wide receiver, but he's probably going super at least from what they've mentioned in the last week or so, like he's going real early. And like, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that personally, but like I get it. He's got that QB best friend type where he's like, I can make plays at the catch point, tremendous adjustments, great hand technique, great grip strength, block well. Like he can do a lot of those things that'll help your offense and your quarterback, but yeah, there you go. Sam lines up strong side, over tight end, covers blitzes, but wills a chase. Joe Milton late round pick, possibly. Dana says a lot of the OTs people have pegged for round 2 early in the process appear to be going back half of the first. Yeah, there's so many. Like Kingsley Suamataia is, there's a chance he goes in the first 2. Right, like there's a lot of them. I'm gonna just pull up the big board and take a look really quick. But like, yeah, like your Jordan Morgans, he's being thrown into the first plenty. I mentioned Suamata. Yeah, I mean, Guyton was on the verge of that. Like Mims was on the verge of that for a while, but it seems like they're locked in. I know Rosengarten's like the sneaky one, which would be kind of wild. But it does seem like that's a possibility. He might be going in the top 50, and we're just shocked by that. And hey, you heard it here first. Maybe you didn't, but yeah, I do think it's going to be a tackle frenzy from start to finish. We're going to have a guy who can both cover at the capability of basically being a nickel and blitz. Thing is, though, I could imagine a situation where the Sam can't cover for the whole game but still does well, then you rotate a natural nickel corner. Yeah, I think you could do a rotation. It's just you got to have... To me, like, if you're doing that rotation, though, to me, I'm not finding that Sam linebacker early in the draft, which is where we kind of were talking about Chop and other linebackers early to do that. So, but yeah, if you have the Sam for nickel, for teams who run the football, yeah, it's going to be nice to have one of those guys. Just wondering who that will be. Who are they looking at for like the lighter edge rusher types to just kind of go play that? I like it. Leggett, Coach, big on Corley. Corley would be a fun move piece in that offense for sure. He really would. Leggett, big, fast. Sign me up. Sign me up for Xavier Leggett, 100%. Yeah, this is big. United Bates throwing this nugget in there. We're gonna get to the mock draft, I promise. You guys have just been awesome tonight. So, United Bates says Belichick interview on the Pat McAfee show is great. He simply explained every team's draft board is different. We can assume, but you never know. It's part of the forecasting process. There will be teams. It just depends. Like Green Bay, a good example for this is like Green Bay and offensive tackle, where they've traditionally been in that like 308 to 320 range, right, in terms of size, and so that like knocks a bunch of guys off. Mims and Latham especially, right, and like those two would be ones that. And Patrick Paul's in like the 330s, where you go, okay, like those aren't Green Bay types. But other teams like the Bengals, say Green Bay doesn't have Latham or Mims on their board. The Bengals have had the two biggest tackles on their team, and I think they do at the moment, right? I think they have Trent Brown on their team right now, and they have Orlando Brown Jr., right? And like they would be like the team that goes, yeah, we like those big guys. We'll take Latham or Mims. Those guys will be on our board. And then you'll have teams that there'll be types like Rosengarten who might not be on their board, like Amagaji, who's, more of a Green Bay Packers type. He's a little bit bigger with the weight. I think he's in the 320 somewhere, but there'll be teams who don't have him. The medical thing is big, right? Belichick, maybe he talked about that, where it's like, half the teams are pulling Latu off because of the medicals. Some teams are pulling Powers Johnson perhaps off. I heard Braden Fisk was another one. Peyton Wilson's another one. Like teams will not have those guys on the board. There's so much, everything. It's very true. Like I remember one year the Patriots, maybe Belichick said it or not, where he's like, yeah, we had like 75 players on our board. 75. There's like 260 picks in the draft, and they had 75 players on their board. So, teams will probably closer to 125, I think, or maybe 150, but like 75 is a pretty small number. So, Kool-Aid is great if he can focus on one guy, one assignment, he gets in trouble with zone. Yeah, I think I'm intrigued to see how he would fare in Green Bay, because I know it's not going to be completely man coverage, but I do think it's going to be a lot of where his assignment will be on the perimeter against one guy, and I just feel like I'm really, really comfortable with him out there, or comfortable. I Kool-Aid to me is just like, oh, wow. And I've mentioned this like so many times. It's just like Kool-Aid's boring, but like, I love that. Like he's tight in coverage all the time. He's like, I've covered my guy. I've got him. This will be no problem. Like I've taken care of my assignment. It's just like, I love that. Love it. If Quinion falls to 20, would you trade up? Yes. Yes, I would. And I would probably promptly be hung up on by Pittsburgh to be like, nah, buddy, we're taking him. Good try, though. So, yeah, I would trade up to 20 for Quinion. Who would I pick at wide receiver? Yeah, I mean, I mentioned I would pick, Obviously, any of the top three would be sick, but I'm in on Adonai Mitchell. I know that's like probably the analytical outlier I'm most in on, just because what he does against man coverage and press coverage with the size, the tempo, the route running prowess. Like I'm super there. The second tier I'm not as thrilled with on the consensus board. I do like Lab McConkey. I feel like he's a very Tyler Lockett type, where really good separator, gets open, could be a big play threat, catches the ball well. Would like him a lot. I do like Leggett. I'm big on McMillan too. I really, obviously the injury derailed him a little bit this past year, but he's so fluid, so smooth in the slot. But he also proves like he can win down the field too, and that's like good leverage threatener, gets open against the off coverage stuff where he can really disrupt leverage in that way and attack it well, and give himself open looks over the middle of the field. Love how smooth he is after the catch, right? Moving on path adjustments after the catch. Like, he's really smooth there. So I do like McMillan. Burton and Baker are awesome players. Burton obviously is, there's been some off the field questions with him and like other that kind of stuff, but like on the field, he's awesome. If you're interested in a video on him, on Burton and what he looks like as a prospect, I'm dropping that video tomorrow on Patreon. It's free right now. Patreon's free right now. I already got a Ricky Pearsall video up over there for those interested. I'm going to throw a few of the other receivers, some of the top guys or mid-round guys up there this week. So feel free to check that out. But yeah, Burton's going to go up tomorrow, and I really, really like him. Javon Baker's awesome. He is tremendous. Super light on his feet, great release, good route runner. Those are the guys that I'd be like in a draft room, be kind of like getting on the banging the table for him for sure. Kool-Aid's graded zone was 83.8. Yeah, he's just well-rounded, super good. I'm talking like Thompson. How am I talking like Thompson? We got to talk about that. I prefer Corley, drafted on day 3. Vidal's a great call, 100%. Can we find the Derrick Henry of middle linebackers? I wish. Linebackers are super small now. Will they invite the creator of the draft next year? I think I know what you're saying. It would take a truly elite rare athlete to do that, Sam. I mean, that would be Chop Robinson probably, to be honest. But Wisconsin vet, yes, I like Newton in the first. I think he's worth it. Kurt says, let's do the mock draft. Shall we? Shall we do the mock draft? We've sat here long enough. It's been almost 100 minutes, and we haven't done the mock draft. We probably should do it. Yeah, let's get rolling on that. Planning on doing a few of these, but I just don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do. I know you guys probably want me to trade a bunch. Oh, Brian, why did you say this on Twitter? Brian, gosh darn it. Okay. All right, I see what's going on now. Yeah, all right. Let's do the mock draft. If you've had a private workout with Johnny Wilson, are confident in his hands. Yeah, the drop rate is pretty bad. There's no doubt. I'd be shocked if Goody didn't go DT with one of those top 100 picks. I agree. We're going to be so stacked after this draft. Yeah, I love that. Oh my gosh. Why is that your name? Why is that your name? Goodness sakes. Okay. We already have a big guy, Caleb Jones. He's played a lot of snaps, Caleb Jones. Big fan. Yeah, I think Colson's like your best chance of getting your kind of Mike linebacker. Deion never played zone. Love that. Yeah. Got to get one of them Texas boys. We really don't need another wideout. I agree. I'm just talking about wideouts because that's the position I feel comfortable about drafting a ton. Just like I feel the most comfortable talking about that position, analyzing it as in depth as possible. That's just me. That's just what this channel is going to partially be. I know there's a lot of Packers stuff on here, but you see me evaluating a lot of wide receivers because I love doing it. So it's always going to be part of it, you know. Who is this year's TJ Watt who will be there at 25 when we trade out? That we'll be wondering what if for a decade. I think it's Latu if he stays healthy. Yeah, if Watson can stay healthy, there's no doubt. Packers love undrafted free agency. Yeah, Caleb Jones 370, but he was a UDFA. That's the biggest thing, right? Is Wicks and Baker redundant? I think Baker's a little bit better of a deep threat, so I think he provides a little bit more in that area than Wicks does. So I'd be comfortable putting him at some flank or some Z looks and letting him stretch the field a little bit, winning the catch point down there. Maybe there's a little bit more redundancy, but I think him and Burton are similar in that regard. I think Baker's a better route runner overall, but yeah. I would draft a wide receiver that fills the same role as Watson. That's Brian Thomas. It's Brian Thomas. 1 and both 2s for alt. Brian, I'm removing you if you comment that. I haven't created no Packers thresholds. Get out of here. Brian's the guy right here. Brian's your threshold guy. I'm telling you. He's the threshold guy. Okay. Should we? Yeah. I agree with this, Dana. I think he's fine with the range and the sideline to sideline stuff, but he has a lot of leaping ability, and he can, use that radius of disruption, I would call it, to get into passing lanes. But yeah, he's not like Edgerrin Cooper's level of speed and athleticism. All right, shall we draft, folks? I want to trade, but we've been going so long, so I just want to stick and pick. Okay. Who shall we? Chat, you know what, chat? Tell me what you guys want to do. This is a you guys mock draft. Okay, we haven't done one of these in a while. So I want let's pick you guys. Let's talk about it. We can look at some trades, but we gotta go quick. I'm putting a timer on this. My phone's gonna be on the timer, and if we don't pick by then I'll be doing the picking. But I'm gonna give you guys a chance to do it. Let's do that. Shall we? Let's do it. I'm putting 2 minutes on the clock, okay? So there are 3 trade down options. Washington's the closest at 36. So that's a decent move down. But I'm going to put it on the clock here. So we got 2 minutes. Newton. Lots of Newton. William wants Kool-Aid. I like Kool-Aid. Do you guys want to do the thing? You want to do the thing? Is Newton really projected to go that high, round 1 or 11? Oh, 11? I think it's just because he is. That's what he is. That's what he's ranked on the board is 11. His ADP is 24. This is more likely what you're thinking of he's going around this range. I think it starts in the 20s for Newton. So William trying to get in 2 votes for Kool-Aid I ain't see that you put it up here already, buddy. Love that. I love the effort. We got to trade back. Do we want to do so my Kool-Aid voters here, okay? Do we want to come back up to get Kool-Aid as well? Are we fine with that? Do we want to do that again? I'm fine with doing it again. Should we? Let's talk about that. Should we I know there's a couple trade backs in there, but right now Newton's beating you guys. Beating the trade back candidates are not winning right now, by the way. So we got to figure that out. Oh, now it's tied. Well, now you guys better figure out what you're doing because there are 3 trade backs. 3 trade backs, couple Kool-Aids. Trading up from 41 is awesome. The trade back is to 36, by the way, and you have 19 seconds where I'm picking. Trade in if Kool-Aid is still there at 30. I would trade back here if you're doing that. All right, so we're trading back. Everybody's in on trading back then. Okay. Pete M says he's in on trading back. We're trading down. With 3 seconds left on the clock. You guys decided we're trading down. Trade up if Kool-Aid's there at 32. All right, I'll turn it into slow mode. We'll trade back with Washington. Let's see what we can get from Washington. Probably going to be able to get their 3, I think. I think we can get 36 and 78, so we'll do that. All right, it's on slow mode. All right, everybody. Okay. But if you guys have a target, okay. Sweat's probably somebody who's not on their board either. But we can take him if you guys want to take him. All right, we traded back with Washington. We'll go slow mode, but you guys got to be on it if we're moving up. Okay. Chop, Nate Wiggins. Adonai. We move back 3. Are we going up to get anybody? If we're still good, I'm going to keep going. Okay. Jordan Morgan. This will probably be Kool-Aid, unfortunately. No, it's Worthy. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. What? Okay. So, they're still here. Somehow, guys. So, Jordan Morgan's so close, too late. Okay. I stopped at 31 because Newton and Kool-Aid are still here. Okay. They're still here. So if we want to do something insane, we can trade up for both 31 and 32. Go get these guys on some 5th-year contracts, baby. Is that something we want to do? I paused the draft. So I'll put the timer up. Restart the timer. Let's see what y'all think. Because I'm interested. Now I'm like, I want to see what everybody says now. So see now, okay. All right. If it's just one, we better figure out who it's going to be. Because I like that 31 and 32. Who doesn't? But we got about a minute and a half. So if everybody's on board, okay, but see, you want to trade. Okay, hold on now. All right. Okay. Wow. All right. This is going to be very difficult because you guys are very much split on this. Let's see. 2 Newtons, 1 Kool-Aid. I assume Williams on Kool-Aid. Yeah. Okay. So 2 Newtons. 1 for both. Kool-Aid. Get Newton. Okay. A lot of Kool-Aids. Resume the draft and trade up. Okay. We take 1. All right. We'll trade up to the Chiefs pick. We'll let this pick go. We'll trade up to the Chiefs pick, whichever one's still there. They're both there. Oh, they're still both there at 32, guys. They're still both there. I'll reset the 2 minutes. They're still there at 32. So, yeah. What are we doing now? They're both available. We're going to have to do something. Newton then get Melton or Tampa. Okay. So who do we want though? Because you guys are very split. There's a lot of people. There's a few people who want Kool-Aid. There's a few people who want Newton. There's a few people who want both. United Bates says let it go. I don't think either makes it to 36. If I were guessing, Arizona didn't take corner. They're going to take one. They took Marvin Adonai. Arizona's on some sicko stuff, man. This draft is actually not real. Let it ride till 1 is taken. Then get okay. Or do we hold on? Let it ride till 1 is taken. I will say that we can let it ride if you feel like DT is better later. Like all those guys we talked about, Jenkins, Michael Hall, some defensive tackles later. If we want the corner, I think we go get the corner. If you don't want the corner, I think you wait. See how this draft goes. But Carolina probably won't take one. New England, I think there's a chance one of them's available at 36. Okay, let them ride till 1 taken. All right. I see Kool-Aid. There are some good DT options. All right. Timer ran out. All right. I feel like it seems like most everybody was on. I feel like it says, let's go get the corner. We'll go up 4 spots. See what it costs us to do that. Oh, you want to give up 202 to move up a few spots? Yeah, let's try that. Okay. All right, we're going to get the corner. If you think Newton can at least match Carl Brooks' production, 41 would have been good, but we're only giving up a lot. We're not giving up much. We got 3 third-round picks now. All right, we're going to take Kool-Aid. I'm sorry we didn't keep 36. But if you guys want to move up before 41 comes, then we will do that. But Newton somehow hasn't been picked yet. This is insane. I'm not sure what's going on here. He's going to get picked here, Chargers. Excuse me? What's going on? Come on. Okay, Carolina. Finally, somebody did it. Okay, so as I surmised, Jackson Powers Johnson's available at 41. Who would have seen that coming? See, this is what's tough about doing this on here, because the reactions are a little delayed. So it's hard for me to make that happen when I don't see the message until after it happens. But Newton 39 to Carolina is nuts. Carolina got, oh my gosh, Carolina got Darius Robinson and Newton. Sick. We like Carolina. Carolina. Well done. Good job, Carolina. I'll give them a standing O for that. That's really nice. Okay. So what are we gonna do here? I knew William was gonna say Newman. That's not surprising to me. We got 2 JPJs here. It's a battle of the players I'm not sure Green Bay's gonna draft. This is sick. JPJ and Newman. Who do we like more? Oh, Coach, where are you at? You throwing in your hat in the ring for Sainer still? Scroll down. There's a couple quarterbacks here. Disa Isaac, Coleman, Wilson. I don't think you guys are going to like this. There's a lot of running backs here. Frazier and Chris Jenkins. All right, putting 2 minutes on the clock, folks. So we better make it happen here. Everybody wants to trade down again. Gosh, how many guys you want, man? How many guys you want? Trade down for Colsey. You just pick him at 58, man. Why does everybody want to keep trading back? You need 20 picks in this draft? What are we doing here? Why does everybody want to move down? Guys, we got 58, 78, 88, 91, man. Let's see here. Everybody wants to trade. There's 4 trade downs. Let's see how far we have to go. 43, 48, 55, 75. Who was the first pick, Lee? It was Kool-Aid McKinstry. We traded back to 36, came back up to 32. Oh no, we aren't doing this. I don't want to trade for 25 picks, man. We're gonna be here all night. We missed out on Humphrey. Take JPJ. So I see Cody already voted. United Bates says JPJ. Got 49 seconds on the clock. I think I see 4 JPJs. How many trade downs? It might be better, but we've traded twice already. Like, what's happening right now? 48 or 55. My gosh. Can always get picks for next year. I know, but I'm exhausted, man. Take BB later over JPJ, but BB don't play center. Go to 48. All right, we'll go to 48. Man. Oh, see, they're less likely to trade next year's pick. Let's try it. Probably gonna get. Oh no, we got a third next year for the move down, so we'll take that. We don't need 15 picks. I'm speeding this up. All right. Should have traded up a couple spots. I mean, that's the problem is I can do it, but we started at the top of the box saying this is your guys' draft. And so, like, I'm not going to change it now. All right, we're picking at 48. Yeah, 48, 58, 78, 88, 91. Is that enough picks to have? I think probably there's going to be some Newman talk here. Bullard's still there. Chris Jenkins is available here. I mean, Colson is way down the board, I think, at 71. And so, like, if you're playing the board here, this should be like, we'll take Chris Jenkins if you want him. I can check Fisk's run defense grade. It's 69. It's not bad. I prefer Jenkins to Fisk personally. Clock's rolling here. We got some votes. Votes for Newman, Jenkins. There's a lot of Jenkins votes. Okay, so I see 4 for Chris Jenkins right now. We got a minute on the clock here. It looks like that's where we're going, which I'm good with that. JPJ is gone, Cody. We got to vote for Hicks. That's interesting. He probably going to be available. Hicks could easily be available at 58. Jenkins. All right. It seems like the overwhelming consensus here is to take Jenkins. Let's take Jenkins. All right. Newman goes, Melton, Sainers still, Bullard. Still a lot of players here at 58. So we go Jenkins. We've gone Kool-Aid and Jenkins. We're moving around. We're picking up third-round picks next year. We're doing a lot of stuff. Jonathan Brooks is available. I'm sure that's where Ayers Joy is going to go. 2 minutes are on the clock here. Adam Huddle likes Rook over Jenkins. All right. Hicks, I assume, is the vote here. Ayers Joy, I knew was going to go Brooks. So Brooks, we got TJ Tampa. We got Jaden Hicks, Jonah Ellis, Kieran Amagaji. There's a lot of guys. Edrin Cooper still available here. Christian Haynes, Marshawn Nealand, and Colson is available as well at 71. So you're looking at, a ton of guys that are still available. O-line's, not neglected yet. We made 2 picks. We haven't, so we get Edrin, we got Jordan Hicks, we got a Cooper pick, we got a Colson pick, which he is available. We got a minute 10 here. I'm looking for the consensus, what we're going to do. A lot of Edrin Coopers. Our next pick is at 78. So 78, you're looking around like this range of guys here, like Kalen Bullock, Lloyd. Jalix Hunt has made a big jump on PFF's board. Kyrie Jackson, there's a lot of guys. So there might be somebody who falls to 78. We could obviously move up from 78 if we want to. Take a couple guys here. A lot of Edrin Cooper picks, and we got 35 seconds. So that looks like where we're going to be here. I'm going to count these. Hicks, Brooks, and 1. Hicks or linebacker. I guess John Schmidt, that means you're picking Hicks. So it's 2 for Hicks. 3 for Hicks. Edrin. Cooper and Cooper. Nobody already voted Cooper. Pass on Colson. Okay, help. O-line help, I think is what it means. O-line needed. Hicks then watched linebacker to trade up. All right, time's up. Time's up. All right. It looks like it looks like Edrin Cooper wins this poll here. It looks like it's not a majority, it's a plurality for Edrin Cooper here. So we'll take Edrin Cooper. I'll put it on a little slower mode if we want to move up. I don't think we're going to move up for Colson now, but we're going to go Cooper. That's what you guys said to do. I'll put it on slow mode. We'll keep an eye on it. And we'll see where it goes from here. We're going to reach 2 hours. I did not plan on being on for 2 hours. Brooks goes. Braswell. Kieran Amagaji goes to Baltimore. Not surprising. Nealand goes to there. Hicks is a Chief. Not quite in time from Kurt there to trade up for that. Corley, Corum, Andrew Phillips. We've got 3 picks for O-line. So, Dorless going. Everybody wants to go up and get Bullock. You don't have to. Christian Haynes is gone. Jalen Wright. Jermaine Burton. Yeah. Tim from PTA's grinning if he's watching this. There goes Colson, but we did get a linebacker in Cooper already here. I know it's a different player. All right. Pick 78. I think we're going to turn it on fast mode. You got 2 minutes. I'm going to show you as many picks as I can so you guys can determine where you want to go. Brandon Coleman from TCU. Really want to shout this out really fast. Played a lot of left tackle in 2022 and graded well, which is interesting. When he plays more guard snaps, it falters a little bit, but he played really well at left tackle only in 2022. We got Blake Fisher here to play some right tackle. Obviously, there's a couple receivers here. We're probably not entertaining that. Kalen Bullock available here. Ray Davis, Marshawn Lloyd. We got Kyrie Jackson. So really, and Cooper Beebe still available. You might be able to get him at 88. Got Taylor Demerson, McCormick. So we're really I know Williams says Bishop. You're gonna wait. How low is Bishop on this board? I would not just listen. Simulator wise, don't take someone who's ranked 132 this high. Don't do that. We got to play the board. We got to play the board a little. All right, Fisher is nice. We got Fisher, Coleman. We got Fisher, Bullock, Bishop over Hicks. I'm there with that. I'd say trade back. Okay. Fisher. All right. It seems like Fisher's overwhelming majority here. We're going to do that. We'll take Fisher. And let's see how we do there. There's your O-line help. We can obviously get more. We're going to try and power through the rest of this. Why aren't you going faster? Come on, thing. There we go. Okay. Ray Davis, Coleman, Ronaldo Green. Bullock goes. Rosengarten at 78. I think, did he go? I think Rosengarten went. No? Yeah, Rosengarten, Joseph, went 47th. He went 47th overall. So, all right, here we go. Pick 88. If you want O-line, you better let me know. We got Marshawn Lloyd available, Kyrie Jackson available. For those fans of Jalix Hunt from Houston Christian, he's there. Cooper Beebe is available, by the way. No, you're good. You're good. I'm just letting you know. We can get Bishop. We can get Bishop for you. Probably a 126, honestly. So Marshawn Lloyd, 2 votes there. Cooper Beebe's still there, by the way. McCormick is still available. There's a lot of O-line. Dominic Pooney's still here. We got 3 votes for Beebe already. 2 votes for Lloyd. Another one for Beebe. We did get Fisher. We did draft Fisher, so we got Fisher in tow. We got some DTD votes. A lot of Beebe votes. We got a minute 8. I'm going to call it. I think Beebe's getting to win here. Let's take him. We're right back up, so it's not a big deal. Okay. I know Lloyd goes, but there are other running backs you can look at here. A lot of Beebe votes. Okay. Not many guys came off, just Lloyd and Hunt. So Kyrie Jackson at corner. I think we're probably not looking too much at corner. DTD's available. Braylon Trice, Dominic Pooney, if we really want to. Yeah, I know, right? I know. Eric All's probably. I'm not sure. I don't think there's any way, Danny's not a top 5 tight end in the class, to be honest. Just not sure how you can rank him any lower than that. I just don't see how that would be possible. All right, so 2 minutes on the clock. We're rolling here. We've got 4 for DTD immediately. 1 vote for Trice or Dominic Pooney. DTD, does he defend the run? He does. Low missed tackle rate. Just pretty strong across the board. Couple bad games in there, but like overall pretty solid. And he's been consistent, which is nice. At least according to PFF. Coach wants Javon Solomon. Now we're talking. We did get Cooper Beebe. So we did draft him. So we have Fisher and Beebe on the team, which is nice. We like that. Dwayne Carter there, I believe he is. But we did draft Lee. We did draft Chris Jenkins. But if we want to go defensive line again, we can. Obviously, Hall is still available, and Dwayne Carter's still there too. Looks like DTD is going to be the pick here. I want to wait for Oladapo, but it looks like the chat is pushing for DTD, and that's what we're going to do. Adrian Taylor Demerson, the pick at 91, and we roll all the way to pick 126. We got the safety. Now it gets interesting. All right. Could get another safety if you want to. Dwayne Carter's still available. That's kind of nice. Worked on O-line. Like only 5 picks left. Hitting the button here. What do we want to look at? So we can look at linebacker really quick. Eichenberg, McGee, Marist. Obviously, Cedric Gray is still available here. Running back, it is Allen, Estime, Shipley. Then it goes down to like Vidal down there and Allen and Laube and all those guys. But Allen, Estime, and Shipley are your guys in this tier. At tackle, Isaiah Adams, who I think is better at guard. Christian Jones, Javon Foster. Seems like the overwhelming majority wants a running back. Interior offensive line, Zinter's available. Limmer. Some guys there. Where else do I want to go for you? Edge rusher, Mo Camara is still there. Somebody said that. Charlie said that. So he is still available. Murphy, Baptiste. We've already got interior defensive line. I mean, adding Carter to it would be sick. But we do have defensive line already with Chris Jenkins. Did we get a safety? We did get a safety. We got Taylor Demerson. But where are we going to go? Jalen Wright's not available. So we cannot take Jalen Wright, unfortunately. Everybody wants running back. Gray, I see 2 votes for Shipley. We got 35 seconds here. 2 votes for Shipley, 3 votes for Shipley. Wide receiver? I mean, sure. I don't know how many people are going to be on board with that, but I don't know what's available there. Got about 18 seconds. It doesn't look that good. I mean, Coker's a good player. Coker's really good in terms of the production profile. Wright isn't. I don't know. Jalen Wright's not available. I don't know where we got to that. But 3, 2, 1. Looks like Will Shipley is the winner. We're taking Will Shipley. Haven't seen much film on DTD. He's got a lot of range playmaking ability at safety. All right, we're on the clock. Will Shipley was the pick. Yeah, he's a little light for strong safety, but Chat picked him. It could be a situation where they're rotating up and down. So I don't know where people were getting on that. I'm not sure. Could see them boxing. Brendan Cox Jr. I mean, I think he's going to be out there, period. He might be Sam linebacker, honestly. Okay. So at this pick, Trayvon Wallace available at 168. That might be everybody's pick there, honestly. I'm sure that's going to be a favorite. We've got Bo Limmer here. Guys, Oladapo went right in front of y'all. That's tough. That's a tough scene. Foster still available. I doubt that Cedric Gray is. I'll check. I mean, he would be on the. He was like 150. Yeah, he's not available. He was 150 on the board, so he's got to be. Yeah, Philly took him here at 161. So it's going to come down to. I don't think Michael Pratt's available. No. So it's going to come down to Trayvon Wallace. It seems like everybody wants. So Garendo is available. Okay, let me see here. So from Louisville, we got Wallace. Got to vote for Limmer, Foster, or Wallace. Estime is gone. And we just took Will Shipley. I don't think I'm down for the double down at running back, but looks like right now Wallace technically has 2 votes. Oladapo went. He's 2 picks in front here to Minnesota. So everybody's not going to be thrilled about that. Take Zachary Smith. Heck yeah. At 169, let's do it. Trayvon Wallace looks like he's going to win here. We've only got 3 seconds. WHS Pioneer wants linebacker. That's where we're going. Time is up. We're going Trayvon Wallace. So obviously probably want to add one more offensive lineman in this draft. Maybe another safety. If you like somebody in the box to play there, could go edge. Cedric Johnson's kind of their type as well. What's up, Nate? How you doing, my guy? Nate and I are gonna be live. Just remember this little ticker down here, draft show for those watching. So, Nate, why you on Twitter, bro? Hop over to YouTube, dog. Look, Smitty's on YouTube. Fellas, we're us and the Smitty and Nate and myself, we've got a fun little mock draft for you guys coming soon. Okay. Sorry, I started the clock here. We got Christian Boyd. Obviously, we could double down at running back. I don't think Limmer's still here. Now let's go O-line, and I'll show the O-line spots. Looks like Laumea, Nathan Thomas, Jalen Sundell, a favorite of this chat. Glaze. So we got those guys there. Interior O-line. McMahon, Robinson, Hanson, Andrew Rame. We're headed to ATX. Nice. Good stuff, man. Enjoy. Better see you soon, Nate. Hopefully we can chat soon. Got to get Sundell. There's 2 votes for Sundell. There's 1 for Jennings. I like Crum, but later. Nugent. Under a minute here. There's Nugent is down there. Said someone mentioned tight end. Barner, McLaughlin, Knox, Westover, Spanford. Yeah, tight end's not that loaded. It looks like Sundell. Packers did not take Rosengarten. He did go like 47th, I think, Jason, in this mock, though. Safety. I can check safety for y'all. I don't think you're going to like it. Omar Brown's still there. Could be a strong safety. Could wait on him. Jalen Simpson. Christian Boyd is still available for those interested, yes. I see 3 for Nugent. We're going to go Nugent, it looks like. Nugent over Sundell is not what I expected here. Miles Cole is still available, I think. There's no way he's not available, right? Give you guys 20 more seconds. Oh, Miles Cole isn't available. They moved Miles Cole up. Logan Jr. Get Boyd. We didn't change. If nobody, it looks like the vote for Boyd is going to get nulled because it looks like Drake Nugent is what people want at 291. I'll give you guys another minute, but like, check the board. Drake Nugent 291st. Probably don't have to take him here. Just letting y'all know. But it seems like everybody's still on board with taking Nugent. So if you want to do that over Sundell and Boyd, that's fine. That's fine. It's your mock, everybody. Sundell's there, but obviously Boyd is still here too. But if we want to go Nugent, we'll go Nugent. Looks like nobody budging. Time running out. 1 vote for Wait. Who else said Sundell? Adam said, oh, crap. See, that's the question, though, Charlie. Who is the best center left? Because Sundell has played center as well, by the way, if you guys were wondering, right? Jalen Sundell has played center. 2 seasons worth of center before moving to left tackle. So, I'm surprised they still have Boyd as a 7th. I think they moved him. Actually, I think they moved him down, Dana, because of the athletic testing, which is weird. Boyd. 4 for Boyd. That might be. I think we might have 3-way tied. Oh, no. We got 5 for Boyd. There you go. We're taking him. Value. Value pick. All right. Let's see here. We can. Might be the time at safety now, folks. 2 picks left. Let's see what we got. Not a lot of running back for you guys still there. Nathaniel Watson's still available. We did get 2 linebackers already. Got 3 on the O-line. Or no, we don't. We don't have 3 on the O-line. We do not have 3 on the O-line. Sound the alarm. I think everybody went. It was okay. Guys, we're too late. We're too late. Now we're too late. We got 2 picks left. We got to get a third O lineman. Chad, I'm disappointed in y'all. Disappointed. So there's some tackles left, right? Donovan Jennings is one. Delmar Glaze is another. Pretty good pass blocker overall. Had some really good games against top competition. Maybe not Michigan. Interior. We didn't take Nugent, remember, because we took Boyd instead. Someone like C.J. Hansen, perhaps. McMahon at center, maybe. I don't know. Andrew Rhyme. Packers did visit with Jennings, yes. They have. So we got 1 for Jennings. We got kicker. We got Helani. Probably going to have to go get Omar Brown to finish this mock draft. So Omar Brown is still there. Looks like 3 for Glaze. We got about 40 seconds. Gosh, there's 200 between Twitter and that's wild. The bots are coming in big on Twitter right now with those views. Nugent is not still available, so you're voting Jennings. They did visit there. All right. Looks like Delmar Glaze is going to win this one, and I think I know how we're going to finish the mock then. Okay, so we're going to get Delmar Glaze at 245, and then you probably did just see him, but he is not there anymore. Maybe he is. Oh, maybe he did. Maybe he was still there. Well, I guess he was. Yeah, Nugent is still there. Oh, well. Oh, well. It's a tough scene. I guess you were right. Yeah, he was. I'm surprised. I forgot he's 291 on this board. So, well, we taking O-line or are we taking the visit, Omar Brown, or are we taking Kenny Logan? I feel like that's got to be the choice here. It was kicker, sign him as a UDFA. Yeah, sign UDFA. Exactly. Could get Nugent as a UDFA. We like that. We like that. All right. I think it's Omar Brown or Kenny Logan. Rame over Nugent. We got an Omar Brown vote. We got Brown, Logan. I don't think there's any other position to see because to this point, like, you got Demerson, but is he a box player? Like Omar Brown, I think probably more of a box slot type, and Logan's more of the free safety type, if I remember correctly. Oh no, he's pretty balanced actually. Balanced coverage is 84, run defense 69, force incompletion rate's pretty good. Run defense 74, a little bit better there. Has more slot and box reps. It's got a lot of slot reps though. It was Omar Brown, Joseph, so we could go Mark Perry, I guess, if we want to go that route. Pretty good force incompletion rate. I see Brown, Logan, either, and then Logan. So we're 2-2. We got 25 seconds left. Let's break the tie. Okay, there we go. Brown. Breaking the tie. Oh, wow. Okay. We're breaking the tie with 15 seconds left. 10 seconds. All right. Omar Brown it is to finish out the mock draft. We get a couple players for. I've earned 3 new awards, folks. You guys are awesome. All right. Let's see how we did here. Gosh, this draft doesn't fit in the window. Can I zoom out? There we go. Should try that. All right, so Kool-Aid, we traded down and then traded up to get Kool-Aid. Made a lot of moves early in the draft. Then stuck and picked a lot. This is pretty good, fellas. We did a good job, everybody. Good job, everyone. Is there any reason Bo Richter from Air Force doesn't get more play? 10.5 sacks and a great RAS. That's a good question. William, I wish I had all the answers, but I don't have an answer to this one. But Chad, I think we did a good job. Chris Jenkins, Edgerrin Cooper, Blake Fisher, Cooper Beebe. We almost did the all three Coopers, which would have been kind of cool. Dadrian Taylor Demerson, Will Shipley, Traven Wallace, Christian Boyd with 2 defensive linemen, which, might be a little much, but oh well. It was value, right? And then Delmar Glaze and Omar Brown. So we get a couple visit guys in Wallace and Brown and Kool-Aid. So 3 visit guys. Oh, no, 4. Cooper as well. 4 guys who visited. Well-rounded guys. We got 3 O-linemen, 2 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, a safety and a slot guy primarily, more than a safety, but then you get a running back in a corner. Well done, guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well done. Well done. All right, well, that will do it. I will hang on to this mock for you guys so we can hang on to it and maybe review it. Thank you, Coach, and everybody who was packed house tonight. I did not think I would be on here for 2 hours plus, so well done to you all for showing up in a big way on a Saturday night. Hope that O-line holds franchise at stake. Absolutely. O-line, they're either gonna early and often or late and often, right? Like that's probably a priority. I just don't imagine they're gonna go into next year with the line they have currently, right? That'd be wild. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much. Maybe hit that like button on the way out if you could. Obviously helps out the old algorithm there. But yeah, draft show Thursday and Friday right here. Hope you guys tune in. I know plenty of y'all are from PTA, so if you're watching there, awesome. Enjoy that stream as well. I'm sure it's gonna be a fun time. But if you want to check this one out as well and you want to multi-screen it up, do it. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. I can't wait for the draft. We'll be able to review a lot of stuff. And maybe I'm hoping we'll do one more stream Packers centric before everything goes down on Thursday. Shooting for Monday, I think, right now. Monday evening, kind of a Packers draft preview. We'll kind of go over a lot of positions and stuff. Maybe do a mock draft as well. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. Oh gosh, there's so many people in this stream to thank. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. That was exceptional. I was not expecting this much. So you guys are very generous to come hang out for a couple hours. So I'll see y'all very soon. There's going to be more on the channel, of course, tomorrow. I think there's going to be a stream tomorrow. We're going to kind of break down the corner class a little bit. With some guests. We might do a round 1 mock as well. Might talk a little wide receiver, which I know Packers fans, that's not your priority right now, which is understandable. But we're gonna talk some draft tomorrow and probably Monday as well. Maybe we'll go live Thursday or Wednesday during the day to preview some things as well for what we're hearing. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of y'all. I got to shout out Lee and Ayers Joy just really quick as guys who've been here for a long time and they just keep showing up, which love that. Obviously Joseph and Coach and Coach Hewlin, Kurt, nobody, love that name, William and Crash and Dave, it looks like, and John and the name that I'm not saying, but I saw Pete show up. John was here early as well. There's so many of you. Cody was in here a ton tonight. M. Smitty I saw United Bates. Ian, Hepzibah. There were some new people as well. Ron, I'm trying to go through on the list, but if I didn't say your name, Dana, of course, always tuning in for these, even as a Cardinals fan, which is super fun. But thank you guys so much. I'm gonna jump out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy your weekend, because it's almost time. We're gonna have some fun. There's gonna be a lot going on here for a while. So hope you guys stick around. You guys crushed it tonight. Also, good job. Thank you guys. And good night, everyone.